7 months pregnant with swollen feet, I watched my mother transform our living room into pink paradise for my baby shower. 60 guests would arrive in 2 hours. Then my brother Tyler burst through the door waving an envelope. "I got into Stanford," he shouted. Within minutes, my mother was scraping "Welcome Baby Emma" off the cake to write "Congratulations, Tyler," while I knelt on the kitchen floor scrubbing spilled frosting with my pregnant belly pressed against cold tiles. Nobody noticed me crying behind the counter. The morning had started so differently. I woke at 6, feeling Emma kick against my ribs as sunlight streamed through our bedroom window. Matt had already left for his shift at the hospital, but he'd placed a fresh blueberry muffin and a note on my nightstand. "Today's your day, beautiful. Can't wait to celebrate our little girl with you tonight. Love you both." I padded to the kitchen, my hand resting on my belly as I surveyed the checklist I'd made weeks ago. Every detail had been planned meticulously. The garden party theme, the flower arrangements Sarah would bring, the games I'd organized, and most importantly, the moment when I'd finally get to celebrate this miracle growing inside me after 3 years of trying. By 7:30, I was arranging the gift table when Sarah knocked. My best friend since college stood at the door with 3 boxes of handmade decorations, her face glowing with excitement. "Ready to be showered with love?" she asked, setting down her supplies and pulling me into a careful hug. We spent the next hour hanging paper lanterns and setting up the dessert station. Sarah had crafted tiny paper storks carrying bundles, each one unique and delicate. As we worked, she told me about her daughter's first words and how excited Madison was to have a baby friend. "You're going to be such an amazing mom, Kara," she said, adjusting a streamer. "This little girl has no idea how lucky she is." My mother arrived at 9, commanding attention as she always did. Patricia Morrison swept in wearing her favorite coral blazer, carrying a massive cake box. "The centerpiece has arrived," she announced, setting it on the counter with reverence. $300, but nothing's too good for my first grandchild's shower. I lifted the lid carefully, gasping at the elaborate creation inside. 3 tiers of pale pink fondant decorated with edible pearls and sugar roses. "Welcome Baby Emma" was written in elegant script across the middle tier. "Mom, it's perfect," I breathed, genuinely touched by the gesture. She waved off my thanks, already moving to inspect our decorations. "Well, we need to make sure everything's just right. Where's Tyler? I told him to be here by 9 to help set up chairs." "He hasn't responded to my texts," I said, not particularly surprised. My younger brother had a habit of showing up late or not at all to family events that weren't centered on him. "That boy," Mom muttered, but her tone was more fond than frustrated. It had always been that way with Tyler. Sarah and I continued preparing, setting up the game station and arranging the food table. I'd made miniature quiches the night before, staying up past midnight to ensure everything was homemade. The cucumber sandwiches were cut into perfect triangles, and the fruit salad sparkled with fresh mint. By 10:30, we'd transformed the space into exactly what I'd envisioned. Soft pink and gold, everywhere fresh flowers on every surface, and a chair decorated specially for me, with ribbons and a sign reading, "Mom to be." "You should rest," Sarah suggested, noticing me rubbing my lower back. "Guests won't arrive until noon." I was about to agree when the front door slammed open. Tyler stood there in his worn jeans and wrinkled t-shirt, his hair sticking up at odd angles. But his face was electric with excitement, and he was waving a white envelope above his head like a flag. "I got in," he shouted, not even glancing at the decorations. "Stanford accepted me. I'm going to Stanford." My mother dropped the plate she was holding. It shattered on the floor, but she didn't seem to notice. She rushed to Tyler, yanking the letter from his hands. "Oh my God," she breathed, scanning the page. "Tyler, this is incredible, Stanford. My son is going to Stanford." I stood frozen, my hand instinctively moving to my belly. That's wonderful, Tyler. Congratulations." But he wasn't listening. He was already on his phone, and I could hear him saying, "Yeah, man, I just told them my mom's freaking out. ITWAMS, D. Sarah touched my elbow gently. "Hey, it's still your day. He just needed to share the news. I'm sure." "We have to celebrate," Mom interrupted, her eyes wild with excitement. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Tyler, call your friends. Tell them to come over." "Mom." I started, my voice small. "The baby shower starts in an hour. We have 60 people. "Oh, Kara, don't be selfish," she said, already moving toward the cake. "Your brother just got into Stanford. We can combine the celebrations. It'll be even better." I watched in growing horror as she opened the cake box and studied it critically. "We'll just need to make a few adjustments." "Mom, please." I tried again. "The invitations were sent weeks ago. People are bringing baby gifts. We can celebrate Tyler tomorrow." "There's frosting in the kitchen," she said, ignoring me completely. "Tyler, honey, what color would you like cardinal red for Stanford?" Tyler grinned, throwing himself onto the couch I'd just finished arranging with carefully placed pillows. "Red and white, Mom. School colors." Sarah stepped forward. "Mrs. Morrison, I really think—" "Sarah, dear, would you mind running to the store? We'll need more food if Tyler's friends are coming. Kara, get the frosting. We need to fix this cake." I felt like I was watching from outside my body as she lifted the beautiful cake and began scraping off the "Welcome Baby Emma" lettering with a butter knife. Pink frosting fell onto the counter in chunks. "I'll get the frosting," I heard myself say, my voice hollow. In the kitchen, my hands shook as I pulled out the containers of frosting I'd bought as backup. Through the archway, I could hear Tyler on the phone. "Yeah, bro, come over now. My mom's turning my sister's thing into a Stanford party. It's gonna be sick." The words hit me like a physical blow. I gripped the counter, trying to breathe through the pain that wasn't physical, but hurt worse than any contraction. When I returned with the frosting, Mom had already removed all traces of Emma's name. She took the containers from me without looking at my face. "Tyler, come write your name. Your handwriting is better than mine." I watched my brother swagger over, dipping his finger in the frosting for a taste before picking up the piping bag. In messy letters, he wrote, "Congratulations, Tyler, Stanford bound," across what was supposed to be my daughter's cake. Some frosting dripped onto the floor. Mom laughed. "Careful, honey, Kara, grab some paper towels." But I was already kneeling, my 7 months pregnant body protesting as I lowered myself to the floor. I scrubbed at the pink smears on my hands and knees, my belly making it hard to breathe in this position. "I need the bathroom," Sarah announced suddenly, and I realized she was trying to give me an excuse to leave, but I couldn't move. I kept scrubbing, even after the frosting was gone, tears dropping onto the clean tile. Nobody noticed. Mom was calling relatives, sharing the amazing news. Tyler was texting frantically his friends already on their way. When I finally stood my back screaming and my knees red from the hard floor, I looked at what had been my baby shower setup. In 30 minutes, they'd begun dismantling everything I'd spent weeks planning. But the worst part came when Tyler ended another phone call and turned to our mother with a smile that made my blood run cold. "Hey, Mom, I've got something to tell you. I actually got this letter 2 weeks ago. I've been waiting for the perfect moment to announce it, and I figured with everyone already coming over today, all the important family would be here. 2 birds, 1 stone." He said it so casually, like he was discussing the weather, like he hadn't just admitted to planning this ambush, to deliberately choosing the one day that was supposed to be about my daughter to steal the spotlight. Mom clasped her hands together. "Oh, Tyler, that's so smart. You always were the strategic one in the family." I stood there, invisible in my own home, watching them celebrate his calculated cruelty. Sarah returned from the bathroom, took one look at my face, and wrapped her arm around me. "Come on," she whispered. "Let's go outside for some air." But I shook my head. I needed to see how far this would go, how much of my day they were willing to steal. As if in answer, Tyler's phone rang again. "Hey, Madison." "Yeah, baby, I told them, come over now. My mom's turning this whole thing into a Stanford party. It's perfect." Perfect. He'd used that word. The same word I'd thought just an hour ago when everything was still mine. The transformation of my home happened with military precision. Mom became a general commanding an army of one, me, while she barked orders and redirected every element of my carefully planned shower. "Kara, we need to move these pink balloons. They don't match Tyler's achievement. Do you have anything in red or white?" I stood there still processing as she began pulling down the decorations Sarah and I had spent hours arranging. "Mom, I don't have Stanford-colored decorations because this is a baby shower." "Well, improvise," she snapped, already moving to the next task. "Tyler, honey, what music do you want? This lullaby playlist won't do." My brother sprawled across the couch, scrolling through his phone. "I'll hook up my Spotify, got a killer party mix." The first of my baby shower guests arrived 20 minutes early, Mrs. Henderson from next door carrying a wrapped gift with a giant pink bow. She stopped in the doorway, confusion clear on her weathered face. "Oh, Kara, dear, am I early? I can come back." "No, you're right on time." I started, but Mom swooped in. "Eleanor, wonderful news. Tyler got into Stanford. We're having a combination celebration." Mrs. Henderson blinked slowly, looking from the half-decorated room to my swollen belly, to the cake that now proclaimed Tyler's achievement. "A combination." "Isn't it perfect?" Mom gushed. "Please put Kara's gift in the corner there. We're making room for Tyler's friends." I watched my elderly neighbor carefully place her gift on the floor in the corner, her lips pursed in disapproval. She'd knitted that blanket herself. I'd seen her working on it during our fence conversations over the past months. More guests began arriving, each one wearing the same expression of bewilderment. My cousin Amanda showed up with her 3 kids, all dressed in their Sunday best. "Where should we put the present, Kara?" she asked, holding a large gift bag decorated with baby carriages. Before I could answer, Mom appeared again. "Just stick it with the others in the corner. Tyler's friends need the main table for the food they're bringing." Sarah stepped forward, her patience clearly wearing thin. "Mrs. Morrison, these people came for Kara's shower. They brought baby gifts. This is really inappropriate." "Sarah, I've known you since you were in college, so I'll forgive your tone," Mom said icily. "But this is a family matter. Tyler getting into Stanford is more important than—" She waved her hand vaguely at my stomach. "More important than your grandchild?" Sarah's voice rose. Aunt Dorothy chose that moment to arrive Mom's older sister who never missed a chance to reinforce family hierarchy. She took in the scene with one sharp glance. "Patricia, what's this I hear about Tyler and Stanford?" Mom's face lit up as she rushed to share the news. Within minutes, Dorothy was nodding approvingly. "Well, of course this takes precedence," she announced to the growing crowd of confused guests. "A baby shower, please. Babies are born every day, but Stanford. That's a real achievement." I felt Sarah's hand squeeze mine as the words hit their mark. Around us, my carefully invited guests, work colleagues, church friends, neighbors who'd watched me struggle through years of fertility treatments, stood awkwardly with their baby gifts. "Should we leave?" one of my co-workers whispered. "No," Mom commanded. "Stay, celebrate with us. Tyler's moment is everyone's moment." That's when Tyler's invasion force arrived. They poured through the front door without knocking, a wave of 20-something men in backwards caps and basketball shorts already pre-gaming from the smell of it. "Yo, Morrison, Stanford boy." They surrounded Tyler with backslaps and chest bumps, their volume drowning out the soft conversation of my guests. Behind them came Madison Tyler's girlfriend of 3 months, dressed like she was heading to a nightclub rather than an afternoon gathering. She surveyed the room with predatory eyes. "Babe, this setup is so cute," she said, her voice dripping condescension. "Very maternal." Tyler grabbed her waist, pulling her close. "Mom's fixing it, making it more Stanford appropriate." "I can help," Madison volunteered, already moving toward my carefully arranged dessert table. "This food is so baby shower. Do you have any real snacks?" I watched her pick up one of my homemade quiches with 2 manicured fingers, sniff it, and set it back down with obvious disgust. "Mom." I tried one more time, pulling her aside. "Please, this is too much. We can have 2 separate parties." "Kara." She gripped my shoulders, her rings digging into my skin. "I need you to stop being hormonal and think clearly. Your brother has worked his entire life for this moment." "And I haven't worked for mine," my voice cracked. 3 years of IVF, Mom. 3 years of shots and procedures and— "That's different," she interrupted. "You chose to have difficulties conceiving. Tyler earned this. The cruelty of her words knocked the breath from my lungs. I stepped back, my hand protective over Emma. Besides, she continued, already turning away, you can have another baby shower. Tyler only gets into Stanford once. I stood rooted to the spot as she walked back to Tyler, watching her kiss his forehead and smooth his hair like he was still 10 years old. Kara. My friend Michelle from book club appeared at my elbow holding a beautifully wrapped gift. What's happening? Should we do the games? Or, everyone listen up. Tyler's friend Jake had climbed onto my coffee table, beer in hand. Let's hear it for Stanford's newest admit. The roar from Tyler's group drowned out everything else. Someone started a chant. Stanford, Stanford, Stanford. My baby shower guests pressed against the walls, clutching their gifts and purses like shields. I saw Mrs. Henderson trying to protect her knitted blanket from the jostling crowd. Amanda was herding her children toward the door. This is insane, Sarah muttered. Kara, let's go. We'll take the gifts and have a proper shower at my place. No. The word came out stronger than I felt. I'm not leaving my own home. That's when I heard Tyler on the phone again, his voice cutting through the chaos. Yeah, Mom says it's cool. Bring everyone. My sister won't mind sharing her party. Sharing. Like I had any choice in the matter. More people flooded in. Tyler's entire social circle, it seemed. They took over my space like an occupying army, pushing baby shower guests aside, knocking over carefully placed decorations. Madison had appointed herself the new party planner, directing Tyler's friends to rearrange furniture. This whole setup screams middle-aged mom. Let's give it some energy. I watched her pick up the special chair decorated for me, the one with Mom-to-be carefully stenciled on ribbons, and toss the decorations aside. This can be Tyler's throne, she announced. The final straw came when Mom called everyone to attention. She stood in the center of my living room, Tyler beside her, and raised her voice. I want to thank everyone for coming to celebrate with us today. I know some of you came expecting a baby shower. She paused for scattered, uncomfortable laughter. But life has given us something even more special to celebrate. My son, Tyler Morrison, has been accepted to Stanford University. The room erupted in mixed reactions, enthusiastic cheers from Tyler's crowd, polite clapping from mine. Mom basked in it all, her arm around Tyler's shoulders. So please enjoy the food, enjoy the cake, and help us celebrate this incredible achievement. What about Kara? The voice was small but clear. Mrs. Henderson's granddaughter, Lucy, who'd come with her grandmother, stood with her hands on her hips. What about her baby? Isn't this supposed to be her party? The room fell silent. Even Tyler's drunk friends paused their celebration. Mom's smile tightened. Lucy, dear, we're celebrating everything today. Kara understands that some things are more important. Getting into college is more important than a baby, Lucy pressed with the devastating honesty only a 10-year-old could muster. Lucy, Mrs. Henderson hushed her granddaughter, but I saw the approval in her eyes. Mom's face flushed. Well, I think... Hey, Mom, Tyler interrupted, throwing his arm around her shoulders. Tell them about how you're calling the newspaper front page story, right? The moment shattered. Mom immediately launched into her plans for publicizing Tyler's achievement, while Lucy was pulled away by her grandmother. I stood there invisible again as my shower became Tyler's victory lap, but something had shifted. A few of my guests began to approach me quietly, squeezing my hand, whispering support. They saw what was happening even if my family refused to. Sarah leaned close. That little girl has more sense than all the adults in your family combined. I nodded my hand on my belly, feeling Emma kick. She was fighting already, my little girl. Maybe it was time I started fighting too. But not yet. First, I needed to see just how deep this betrayal went. Excuse me, I said to Sarah, moving toward the kitchen. I need some water. What I really needed was Tyler's phone. He'd left it on the counter while he held court in the living room, and something about his earlier comment nagged at me. He'd had the letter for 2 weeks. He'd planned this ambush. I picked up his phone knowing his passcode, his birthday, because Tyler was nothing if not predictable. What I found made my blood run cold. The text messages on Tyler's phone blurred through my tears, but I forced myself to read every word. The thread with Mom dated back 3 days. Tyler, so Saturday's still good for the big reveal? Sunday, Sunday no. Mom, perfect timing. Everyone will already be here. Tyler, you sure Kara won't freak? Mom, she'll be fine. She's had plenty of attention with this pregnancy. Time to celebrate something that actually matters. My hands trembled as I screenshotted the conversation. Behind me, the party raged on. 2 separate events crashing together like tectonic plates, creating nothing but destruction. Kara, honey, are you okay? I spun around to find Grace, my mentor from work, standing in the kitchen doorway. She carried a gift bag decorated with dancing elephants, her silver hair perfectly coiffed for what she'd thought would be an elegant afternoon shower. The lie died on my lips. No, I'm not okay. She set down her gift and pulled me into a careful hug, mindful of my belly. I've been watching this disaster unfold for 20 minutes. Your mother should be ashamed. She planned it, I whispered. They planned it together. Before Grace could respond, a crash echoed from the living room. We rushed out to find one of Tyler's friends had knocked over the gift table while attempting some kind of dance move. Wrapped presents scattered across the floor boxes, splitting open tissue paper trampled under dirty sneakers. My bad. The guy laughed, clearly intoxicated, at 2 p.m. Tyler, your sister's got a lot of stuff. Leave it, Tyler called out, not even looking. We need room for beer pong anyway. Beer pong at my baby shower. I dropped to my knees trying to salvage gifts from the wreckage. The handmade blanket Mrs. Henderson had knitted lay under someone's foot, now stained with spilled beer. A box containing what looked like a baby monitor had been crushed. Here, let me help. Several of my guests joined me on the floor, carefully gathering scattered items. Grace and Sarah formed a protective barrier, keeping Tyler's friends from causing more damage. Is this a baby shower or a frat party? I heard someone mutter. Meanwhile, Mom held court near the fireplace, Tyler's acceptance letter in hand, as she read it aloud to anyone who'd listen. Dear Mr. Morrison, we are pleased to inform you. Can you believe it? My baby boy at Stanford. Aunt Dorothy stood beside her, nodding approvingly. Finally, someone in this generation doing something worthwhile. No offense to Kara, but anyone can have a baby. The words hit me like physical blows. Anyone can have a baby. 3 years of needles, hormones, procedures, tears, hope, despair, and finally, success. Reduced to anyone can do it. Excuse me. The voice was loud, authoritative. My supervisor, Janet, stood in the center of the chaos. I'm looking for Kara Morrison. I believe this is supposed to be her baby shower. Oh, that's me, I said, struggling to stand with my salvaged gifts. Janet's eyes swept the room, taking in the beer pong table being assembled where my gift table used to be. Tyler's friends dominating the space, my cake, announcing his college acceptance. I see, she said, her tone suggesting she saw entirely too much. Well, I wanted to personally deliver this. She handed me an envelope. The office collection for baby Emma. We're all so excited for you. Thank you, I managed, clutching the envelope like a lifeline. Though I must say, Janet continued, her voice carrying, when I RSVP'd to a baby shower, I didn't expect to attend a fraternity recruitment event. Tyler's friends laughed, missing the insult entirely. Tyler himself finally noticed the tension, sauntering over with Madison draped on his arm. You must be Kara's boss, he said, flashing his practice smile. I'm Tyler, the Stanford admit. Pretty exciting day for the family, right? Janet's expression could have frozen hellfire. Indeed, though I imagine your sister's first child after years of fertility struggles might also warrant some excitement. Tyler's smile faltered. Yeah, well, babies happen all the time. Do they? Janet interrupted. How fascinating. I must have missed that chapter in my medical training. Silly me thinking conception, pregnancy, and childbirth were complex biological miracles. I wanted to hug her. Madison, sensing her boyfriend losing ground, jumped in. We're actually making this party better, she announced. It was so boring and maternal before. Now it has energy. Energy, Janet repeated flatly. Yes, nothing says celebrating new life quite like beer pong and property damage. That's when I noticed Mom approaching her radar for conflict finally activating. Is there a problem here? Several, actually, Janet replied. But I wouldn't want to interrupt your son's celebration with concerns about your pregnant daughter's well-being. Mom's face flushed. Kara is fine, she's just being hormonal. Mrs. Morrison. The sharp voice belonged to my next-door neighbor. Your son's friends just vomited in my rosebush. The room turned to see Mrs. Chen standing in the doorway, fury radiating from her tiny frame. I came to give Kara my gift, and I find drunk boys destroying my garden. I'm so sorry, I started, but Tyler laughed. Chill out, lady, it's just plants. Just plants? Mrs. Chen's voice rose. Those roses won first place at the county fair. Mom will pay for new ones, Tyler said dismissively. Right, Mom. Patricia nodded quickly. Of course we'll handle it. But Mrs. Chen wasn't done. And you'll handle them parking on my lawn and the one urinating behind my garage. Gasps rippled through the remaining baby shower guests. Several gathered their purses, clearly ready to flee. Wait, I called out. Please don't go. We can... Kara, sweetie. Mrs. Rodriguez, who taught my Sunday school class growing up, touched my arm gently. This isn't the celebration you deserve. We'll do something special another time just for you and Emma. One by one, my guests began leaving. They pressed gifts into my hands with whispered apologies and promises to check in later. Each departure felt like another piece of my heart breaking. Sarah and Grace stayed helping me move the salvaged gifts to the nursery. As we climbed the stairs, I could hear Madison below. Finally, the boring people are leaving. Tyler, baby, let's get this real party started. Music blasted through the house. Nothing like the gentle playlist I'd curated. Bass thumped through the floorboards as we entered the nursery, the one room still untouched by the chaos. I need to call Matt, I said, reaching for my phone. He should know what's happening. But when I dialed, it went straight to voicemail. Emergency surgery, probably. He'd been so excited about making it home for the shower's end, planning to help thank guests and load gifts. Kara, you need to document this, Grace said firmly. Take pictures. This is beyond inappropriate. It's abusive. I nodded, pulling out my phone to photograph the destroyed decorations, the beer-stained carpet where gifts had been trampled, the cake proclaiming Tyler's achievement where my daughter's name should have been. That's when I heard Tyler's voice drifting up the stairs, loud and clear. Best part, I've been sitting on this acceptance for 2 weeks just waiting. Mom and I figured why waste money on 2 parties when we could hijack Kara's. She's so hormonal lately, she probably won't even remember. Laughter erupted from his friends. I stood frozen in the nursery doorway, Grace's hand on my shoulder. That little Sarah started. No, I said quietly. Let him talk. Let him show everyone exactly who he is. Tyler continued, his voice carrying. Besides, she's been hogging all the family attention with this pregnancy drama. 3 years of poor Kara can't have a baby. God, it got old. Finally, I have something that makes me the focus, you know. You must be so proud, someone said, and I couldn't tell if they were being sarcastic. Hell yeah, Stanford baby worth more than 1 million babies. I closed my eyes, my hand on my stomach where Emma kicked strongly. She could hear it too, all of it. My daughter's first introduction to her family's priorities. We're leaving, Sarah announced. Kara, pack a bag. You're staying with me tonight. I can't leave, I protested. This is my house. Matt will be home. A crash interrupted me. Through the window, I could see Tyler's friends had moved the party outside, where one had just knocked over my carefully planted container garden. Oops, the guy laughed. Tyler, your sister's got too much stuff everywhere. Too much stuff. My home, my garden, my shower, my life. All reduced to too much stuff in the way of Tyler's celebration. Actually, I said, my voice stronger, I'm staying. But I am going to need your help with something. Grace and Sarah exchanged glances. Anything, they said in unison. Help me move the rest of the gifts somewhere safe. Then, I pulled out my phone, showing them the screenshots of Tyler and Mom's texts. We're going to make sure I document everything, every single moment of this disaster." "Now you're talking," Sarah said, fire in her eyes. As we worked to protect what remained of my shower gifts, the party below grew louder and more destructive. But something had shifted in me. I wasn't just hurt anymore, I was angry, and I was done being invisible in my own life. Emma kicked again, stronger this time. "I know, baby girl," I whispered. "Mommy's going to make this right. I promise." The bathroom door locked behind me with a soft click, finally granting me a moment of privacy from the chaos below. I sat on the closed toilet lid, my hands shaking as I tried to process everything that had happened in just 2 hours. The music from downstairs vibrated through the floor, Tyler's party in full swing where my baby shower should have been. A sharp pain shot across my abdomen, making me gasp. I pressed my hand to my belly, feeling Emma's movements become frantic. "It's okay, sweet girl," I whispered, trying to calm us both. "Mommy's okay." But I wasn't. The stress was affecting my body in ways I couldn't ignore. Another cramp hit stronger this time, and I recognized the warning signs from my pregnancy books: stress contractions. At 7 months, this was dangerous. Kara, open up." Sarah's voice came through the door, urgent. "I saw you run in here. Are you all right?" I unlocked the door, and she took one look at my face before pulling out her phone. "That's it. I'm calling an ambulance." "No," I grabbed her wrist. "No ambulance, it's just stress contractions. If we call paramedics, Mom will turn it into another way I'm ruining Tyler's big day." "Screw your mom," Sarah said bluntly. "You're having pregnancy complications." "I just need water and to lie down for a few minutes," I insisted. "Please, Sarah, don't give them more ammunition." She looked like she wanted to argue but helped me to sit on the bathroom floor instead, my back against the cool tile wall. The contractions eased slightly. "This is insane," she muttered, wetting a washcloth with cold water. "Your family is literally putting your baby at risk for Tyler's fake celebration." "Fake?" I asked, accepting the cloth gratefully. Sarah hesitated. I wasn't going to say anything yet, but my cousin works in Stanford admissions. That acceptance letter looked off to me. The formatting, the language. Before she could elaborate, we heard footsteps in the hallway. The bathroom door burst open. Apparently, I'd forgotten to relock it. Madison stood there, Tyler's girlfriend, holding my handmade baby blanket. The one I'd spent 3 months crocheting, working on it during every doctor's appointment, every blood draw, every moment of hope and fear. "Oh, good you're here," she said breezily. "Tyler needs something to sit on outside. The grass is damp. This'll work perfect." "That's my baby blanket," I said, too shocked to move. "I made that for Emma." Madison rolled her eyes. "It's just a blanket. You can make another one." She turned to leave, but Sarah launched herself forward, snatching the blanket back. "Touch that again and I'll end you." "Wow, hormonal much," Madison smirked. "Tyler warned me you'd all be crazy. Pregnancy brain is real, huh?" I stood slowly, one hand on the wall for support. "Get out." "Excuse me." "Get out." My voice was stronger now. "Of my bathroom, of my house." Madison laughed, that tinkling fake sound that probably charmed Tyler. "Your house, honey, from what Tyler tells me Mommy and Daddy paid for this place, and Mommy seems pretty happy with our party improvements." She flounced out, leaving Sarah and me staring after her. The pain in my abdomen had settled to a dull ache, but the pain in my chest was growing. "Come on," Sarah said. "Let's get you some water and somewhere to rest." We made our way carefully downstairs where the devastation was complete. My living room looked like a war zone. Red Solo cups covered every surface. Someone had drawn Stanford's logo on my wall in what looked like permanent marker. The carpet was soaked with beer and sodas. In the corner, my cousin Jennifer held court with some of Tyler's friends. She'd always resented me for being older, for getting married first, for every milestone that came before hers. Honestly, she was saying loud enough to ensure I heard, "Kara's always been such a drama queen. Remember when she couldn't get pregnant, every family gathering was poor Kara this and poor Kara that. At least Tyler actually achieved something worth celebrating." One of Tyler's friends noticed me. "Hey, you're the sister, right?" Tough break about your party, but Tyler deserves this. Stanford's huge. I opened my mouth to respond when another wave of pain hit. Sarah steadied me, leading me to the kitchen where it was marginally quieter. Through the window, I could see the backyard destruction. Tyler's friends had turned my carefully maintained garden into a volleyball court. My tomato plants, which I'd grown from seed, lay crushed. The small greenhouse Matt had built for my herbs was shattered glass, glittering in the afternoon sun. "My garden," I whispered. "Document it." Grace appeared beside us, her phone already out. "All of it." That's when I heard Tyler's voice carrying from the patio where he was holding court in what used to be my meditation space. "The best part," he was saying to his captive audience, "I knew Kara would fold, she always does. Remember when we were kids, Mom?" He called out to our mother, who was refilling drinks nearby. "Kara would get something nice, and I'd want it, and you'd tell her to share." Mom laughed, the sound making my stomach turn. "You were such a determined little boy. Remember her sweet 16. You convinced me to let you invite your friends. Turned it into my pre-graduation party," Tyler crowed. "Just like today, some things never change." His friends laughed and cheered. One raised his cup. "To Tyler, Master Manipulator." "To Tyler," they echoed. I stood frozen, Sarah's arm around me as the truth crystallized. This wasn't just about today. This was my entire life. Every moment that should have been mine stolen and repurposed for Tyler's glory. "You okay?" Sarah whispered. I wasn't. Another contraction rippled through me, and this time I couldn't hide the gasp of pain. "That's it," Grace announced. "Sarah, get her upstairs. I'm calling Matt." "His phone's off," I protested weakly. "Then I'm calling the hospital directly," she said firmly. "They'll pull him out of surgery." As Sarah helped me toward the stairs, we passed the living room where Mom was showing off Tyler's acceptance letter to yet another group of people. "Early admission too, my brilliant boy." She caught sight of me and frowned. "Kara, where are you going? We need more ice." "She's having contractions," Sarah snapped. "Your pregnant daughter needs rest." Mom waved dismissively. "She's fine. First pregnancies always have false alarms. Kara, the ice." I stopped turning to face the woman who gave birth to me, who was supposed to protect me, who was currently choosing Tyler's fake celebration over her grandchild's health. "I'm done," I said quietly. "What?" "I'm done being invisible, done being second, done pretending this is normal." Mom's face darkened. "Kara Marie, you're being dramatic." Another contraction hit hard enough that I doubled over. Sarah caught me, and I heard several people gasp. "Oh my God, is she okay?" someone asked. "She's fine," Mom insisted, but her voice wavered. "Just Braxton Hicks, nothing serious. Tyler, honey, tell them about your SAT scores." But for once, the attention wasn't shifting back to Tyler. People were staring at me, at the obviously pregnant woman in distress, at the mother dismissing her daughter's pain. "Mrs. Morrison," one of my coworkers said slowly, "she needs medical attention." "I know my own daughter." "Do you—" The question came from Mrs. Henderson, who'd apparently returned despite the earlier chaos. "Because from where I'm standing, you don't know her at all." The room fell silent except for the thumping bass from Tyler's sound system. I straightened, slowly breathing through the pain. 3 years, I said, my voice carrying in the sudden quiet. 3 years of treatments, 47 doctor appointments, 12 procedures, $8,000 in medical bills, 4 pregnancy losses before Emma. I looked directly at my mother. But sure, anyone can have a baby. "Kara, Mom started?" "I'm not finished." I pulled out my phone showing the screenshots Sarah had helped me take. "Tyler got that letter 2 weeks ago. You've been planning this ambush for 3 days. You conspired to hijack your daughter's baby shower because Tyler wanted maximum impact." Gasps rippled through the room. Even some of Tyler's friends looked uncomfortable. That's taken out of context," Mom sputtered. "Is it?" I swiped to the next screenshot. Quote, "She's had plenty of attention with this pregnancy. Time to celebrate something that actually matters. Your words, Mom, not mine." Tyler finally pushed through the crowd, his face red. "Kara, stop being such a—" "A what?" Sarah challenged. "A woman who's tired of being stepped on, a mother protecting her baby from toxic family members." "Toxic." Tyler laughed harshly. "I got into Stanford sorry if that overshadows your basic biological function." The slap of Jennifer's hand across Tyler's face echoed in the shocked silence. My cousin, who'd been talking trash about me minutes ago, stood there shaking with rage. "My sister had 7 miscarriages," she said quietly. 7. Don't you ever call pregnancy a basic biological function again. Tyler held his cheeks stunned. Mom rushed to him, of course, cooing over her baby boy. I felt another contraction building and gripped Sarah's hand. "We need to go upstairs, now." But as we turned to leave, I heard something that stopped me cold. Tyler, still smarting from the slap, muttered to his nearest friend, "Whatever. At least when I frame my Stanford diploma, it'll be real. Not like her miracle baby that probably won't even make it to term given her track record." The words hit like a physical blow. Sarah's grip on me tightened, and I heard Grace's sharp intake of breath. But it was Matt's voice that rang out next. "What did you just say about my wife and daughter?" My husband stood in the doorway, still in his scrubs, his face a mask of controlled fury. He must have gotten Grace's message and left the hospital immediately. Tyler, too drunk on attention and alcohol to recognize danger, shrugged. "Just being realistic, bro. Kara's not exactly batting 1,000 in the baby department." He never finished the sentence. Matt didn't hit him. My husband was too controlled for that. Instead, he simply walked past Tyler as if he didn't exist, coming straight to me. "How long have you been having contractions?" he asked, his doctor mode engaging as he felt my pulse. "About 30 minutes, I admitted. "We're going to the hospital, now." He looked around the destroyed room, his jaw tight. "Sarah, can you grab the hospital bag from our bedroom? Grace, call ahead to labor and delivery, tell them we're coming." "She's being dramatic," Mom protested. "Tyler's big day." "Patricia." Matt's voice could have cut glass. "Your daughter is showing signs of preterm labor brought on by severe stress. Stress that you and your son deliberately caused. If anything happens to our baby because of your selfishness, I will hold you personally responsible." Mom stepped back as if slapped. I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did," I said quietly. "You meant every word. You meant to steal this day. You meant to make me invisible. You meant to show everyone that Tyler matters more." I looked around the room, at the destroyed decorations, the trampled gifts, the cake with my daughter's name scraped off and replaced with Tyler's achievement. "But here's what you didn't mean to do." I continued, my voice growing stronger despite the pain. "You didn't mean to show everyone exactly who you really are. You didn't mean to reveal that Tyler's achievement means more to you than your granddaughter's life. You didn't mean to prove that I've been the scapegoat in this family for 28 years. Another contraction hit, and Matt's arm went around me immediately. "We're leaving," he announced. "Anyone who actually cares about Kara and Emma is welcome to visit us at the hospital. The rest of you can enjoy your stolen party." As Matt led me toward the door, I heard Tyler's voice one last time, petulant and angry. "This is supposed to be my day. She's ruining everything just like always." I paused at the threshold, looking back at my younger brother, the golden child who'd been given everything at my expense. "No, Tyler," I said clearly. "For the first time in my life, I'm not letting you ruin mine." Then Matt helped me into the car, Sarah and Grace following with hastily packed bags. As we pulled away, I saw neighbors emerging from their houses, drawn by the commotion. Mrs. Chen was taking pictures of the damage to her property. Mrs. Henderson was on her phone, probably calling the police about the noise. My family's perfect image was cracking, and for once, I didn't care about holding it together. "Hospital?" Matt asked gently. I nodded, my hand on my belly where Emma had gone worryingly still. "Hospital. And Matt. Whatever happens, we're done with them. All of them. Already decided that the moment I walked in," he said, squeezing my hand, "our family starts and ends with us and Emma. The rest of them can rot." As another contraction rolled through me, I closed my eyes and focused on my daughter. "Hold on, baby girl. We're going to be okay. And I promise, no one will ever make you feel invisible, not as long as I'm breathing." The hospital loomed ahead, and with it the terrifying possibility that Tyler's cruel prediction might come true. But I pushed that thought away. Emma was a fighter, just like her mom was learning to be. And we Morrison women, we don't give up without a fight. The hospital room was quiet except for the steady beep of monitors tracking Emma's heartbeat. After 3 hours of tests, IV fluids, and medications, the contractions had finally stopped. Matt sat beside my bed, holding my hand while Sarah and Grace waited in uncomfortable plastic chairs. "She's stable," Dr. Martinez assured us, reviewing the ultrasound results. "Baby looks good, but this was definitely a warning. You need to avoid stress for the remainder of your pregnancy." Avoid stress. I repeated, almost laughing at the impossibility. My family just destroyed my baby shower, and my brother said he hopes my baby doesn't make it to term. Dr. Martinez's expression hardened. "Then your family doesn't get access to you. Doctor's orders. Your health and Emma's life come first." After she left, I lay there processing everything. My phone had been buzzing nonstop since we'd arrived. Matt had turned it face down, but I could see the notification light flashing incessantly. 57 texts. Sarah reported, checking her own phone. "Your mom's in panic mode. Apparently the police showed up." "Good," Grace said firmly. "Natural consequences." I picked up my phone, scrolling through the messages. Mom's texts evolved from angry to panic to blame shifting. "You've ruined Tyler's day with your dramatics." "Where are you? People are asking questions." "The police are here. How could you do this to us?" "Tyler's so upset he threw up. This is your fault." "At least tell me you're okay. You're still my daughter." That last one almost made me throw the phone across the room. Still her daughter, when convenient, when it didn't interfere with Tyler's spotlight. "I need to document everything," I said suddenly, "while it's fresh." Matt looked concerned. "Babe, you need to rest." "No, I need to do this. For Emma, for me." I pulled up my photos from earlier. "Pass me my laptop, it's in the bag." For the next hour, I methodically organized everything. Screenshots of Tyler and Mom's planning texts, photos of the destroyed shower, videos I'd managed to capture of Tyler's cruel comments, the hospital admission paperwork showing stress-induced preterm labor. "What are you doing?" Sarah asked, watching me work. "Building a case," I said, surprising myself with how calm I felt. "They want to pretend this was normal family dynamics. Fine, let me show receipts." Grace smiled approvingly. "That's my girl. Document everything." I remembered something else. "Sarah, you said the acceptance letter looked fake." She shifted uncomfortably. I didn't want to say anything during the chaos, but my cousin Marcus works at Stanford admissions. That letter had several red flags. Wrong font, outdated letterhead, and Stanford doesn't send physical acceptance letters anymore. It's all through their portal. My fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up Stanford's official website. Sure enough, their admissions page clearly stated that all decisions were released electronically with specific dates that had already passed. He missed the deadline. I breathed. Regular decision notifications went out 2 weeks ago. If Tyler really got in, he'd have known a month ago, not 2 weeks. Holy crap. Matt leaned over to look. He faked the whole thing. I kept digging, finding more inconsistencies. The letter format, the signature, even the language used, all wrong. My brother had committed fraud, and my mother had fallen for it completely. "We need more proof," I muttered, then remembered. "Our doorbell camera, it records 24/7. I pulled up the app, scrolling back through the footage. There it was. Tyler arriving this morning, but earlier than he'd claimed. Much earlier. At 7 a.m. while Matt and I were still asleep. The video showed him and Mom in the driveway practicing, actually rehearsing his surprise announcement. "I can't believe this," Sarah breathed, watching over my shoulder. But I could. It was so perfectly Tyler. The need for attention, the elaborate deception, the complete disregard for anyone else. What shocked me was my mother's willing participation. I kept scrolling and found more. Tyler printing something at a FedEx office last night. Him meeting with his friend Jake, who worked at a print shop. The pieces were falling into place. He didn't just plan to hijack your shower, Grace said slowly. He created an entire fake acceptance to have something to hijack it with. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Hey, this is Madison. Your brother's a liar. We're done. Thought you should know he's been telling everyone at the party that you're faking your pregnancy complications for attention. Also, he owes me $300. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. The next few hours were a blur of revelation. I reached out carefully to people I trusted, gathering information. My coworker Lisa confirmed that Tyler had been bragging about Stanford for days, despite the timeline not matching. Mrs. Henderson sent me videos she'd taken of the party's destruction for insurance purposes. Even Jennifer, guilt-ridden after her earlier behavior, forwarded me screenshots of Tyler's social media posts, already claiming to be Stanford Class of 2028. "This is insane," Matt said, watching me compile everything into organized folders. "He built this entire lie and destroyed your shower to celebrate something that isn't even real." "The real celebration was never about Stanford," I said quietly. "It was about taking something from me. It always has been." I thought back to every birthday overshadowed, every achievement minimized, every moment stolen. Tyler didn't need a reason. He just needed opportunity. And Mom had always provided it. "What are you going to do?" Sarah asked. I looked at my laptop screen at the mountain of evidence I'd accumulated. Then I looked at the monitor showing Emma's steady heartbeat. My daughter. My priority. "Tonight, nothing. I'm going to rest like the doctor ordered." I closed the laptop. "But tomorrow morning, I'm going to leave a present on the kitchen table for my family to find." "Kara," Matt's voice held a warning. "I'm not going to be vindictive," I assured him, "just truthful. They turned my shower into a celebration of Tyler's achievement. Fine. Let them have the full truth about what they're celebrating." Grace stood stretching. "We should let you rest, but Kara, I'm proud of you. It's about time you stood up to them." Sarah hugged me carefully. "Text if you need anything, and I mean anything." After they left, Matt climbed into the narrow hospital bed beside me, his arm protective around my shoulders. "You sure about this?" he asked. "They could have killed her." I set my hand on my belly. Their need for drama for Tyler to be special, for me to be nothing. It could have killed our daughter. So yes, I'm sure. "What's in the folder?" I smiled, the first real smile all day. Everything. Tyler's fake letter. The real Stanford admissions timeline. Screenshots of him bragging about a lie. The doorbell footage of them practicing. Receipts from the print shop. Messages from multiple people confirming the deception. And the cherry on top, an email I just sent to Stanford's admissions office asking them to verify Tyler Morrison's acceptance status. Matt whistled low. "They're going to implode." "Probably," I agreed. "But that's not my problem anymore. My problem is keeping Emma safe and healthy. They made their choice. Tyler's fake moment over their granddaughter's life. Now they can live with the consequences." We lay there in comfortable silence, listening to Emma's heartbeat fill the room. Strong and steady, just like her mama was learning to be. "You know what the ironic part is?" I said eventually. "What's that?" "Tyler actually could have gotten into Stanford. He's smart enough. But he was too lazy to do the work, too entitled to earn it. So he faked it just like he's faked everything his whole life. And your mom fell for it." "She wanted to fall for it," I corrected. "She needed Tyler to be special because she's invested everything in him being special. If he's ordinary, what does that make her?" Matt kissed my temple. "You're being very philosophical for someone on bed rest." "I've had 28 years to think about it. I just never had the courage to act on it before." "What changed?" I felt Emma kick a gentle reminder of her presence. I became a mother. And I realized I'd rather have no family than teach my daughter that this is what family does. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Tyler. "You selfish witch. You couldn't let me have one day. I hope you're happy ruining everything like you always do." I screenshot the message and added it to my folder. Then I blocked his number, a weight lifting from my chest as I did. "No, Tyler," I whispered to the universe. "For once I am happy, because I finally chose myself and my daughter over your lies." The monitor beeped steadily, a lullaby of life and hope. Tomorrow would bring chaos when my family found my carefully compiled truth on their kitchen table. But tonight, I was just a mother protecting her child, a wife beside her husband, a woman who'd finally found her voice. And that was worth more than all the Stanford acceptances in the world. By the time Matt and I returned home at 11 p.m., the war zone that had been my baby shower was somehow even worse. Red Solo cups floated in my kitchen sink like a failed science experiment. Shoe prints tracked mud throughout the hallway. Someone had definitely vomited in my grandmother's antique vase. "Stay in the car." Matt ordered, his jaw clenched as he surveyed the damage through our front window. "Let me check it's safe first." But I was done being protected, done hiding. "We go together." The house reeked of beer and something worse. Maybe the vomit, maybe just the stench of betrayal. In the living room, Mom and Aunt Dorothy sat among the debris wine glasses in hand, still rehashing Tyler's triumph. And when he gives his valedictorian speech at Stanford, Mom was saying, "He didn't get into Stanford," I announced from the doorway. Both women whipped around. Mom's face went through several expressions. Surprise, anger, then forced concern. "Kara, thank goodness you're okay. We were so worried." "No, you weren't." I stepped into my destroyed living room, Matt steady beside me. "If you were worried, you would have come to the hospital. Instead, you stayed here drinking wine in my destroyed house, fantasizing about Tyler's fake achievement." "Fake," Aunt Dorothy scoffed. "We all saw the letter." "A letter he had printed at Jake's shop last night," I said calmly. "I have the receipt and the security footage, and confirmation from Stanford that admissions decisions were released a month ago, not 2 weeks. Mom's wine glass trembled. "You're lying, you're just jealous." "Check for yourself," Matt suggested, pulling up Stanford's website on his phone. "Official decision release date March 15th. Today is April 12th. Do the math." He could have been waitlisted. "Waitlist notifications went out the same day," I interrupted. "But you know what? Believe what you want. Tomorrow morning you'll have all the proof you need." I walked past them to the stairs, pausing at Tyler's artwork on my wall, the Stanford logo drawn in Sharpie. By the way, I added, "The police will be back tomorrow to file a full report. Mrs. Chen is pressing charges for property damage. The Homeowners Association already called about noise violations, and our insurance company will need a list of everyone who attended Tyler's fake Stanford party for the liability claim." Kara Marie Morrison. Mom stood using my full name like a weapon. "How dare you?" "My name," I said quietly, "is Kara Marie Thompson. Has been for 6 years. But you've never bothered to remember that, have you?" I left them gaping and climbed the stairs to find Tyler sprawled in my bed, with muddy shoes on my white comforter. Empty beer bottles littered my nightstand. He was scrolling through his phone, probably reading congratulations for his fictional acceptance. "Get out," I said. He didn't even look up. "Chill, sis. Mom said I could crash here." "This is my house. Get out." "God, you're such a drama queen." He finally looked at me, taking in my hospital bracelet. "Let me guess, fake pregnancy emergency for attention." Matt stepped forward, but I held him back. This was my fight. "Real pregnancy emergency caused by stress," I said. "Stress from watching my brother destroy my baby shower to celebrate a fake college acceptance." Tyler's face flushed. "It's not fake." "Jake at Print Quick says differently. So does the doorbell camera that caught you and Mom rehearsing your announcement at 7 this morning. So does Stanford's admissions office, who I've already contacted about your fraudulent claim." The color drained from his face. You contacted Stanford?" "With screenshots of all your social media posts claiming to be admitted. They take fraud very seriously, especially when someone uses their name to solicit congratulations and let me guess money from relatives. Tyler scrambled off the bed, suddenly much less cocky. You can't prove anything. I can, actually. I pulled out my phone, showing him the folder I'd compiled. Every receipt, every screenshot, every timestamp, even your text to Jake asking him to make it look official. You're not just a liar, Tyler. You're a stupid liar. Mom, he shouted, pushing past me to the stairs. Mom, Kara's trying to ruin everything. I followed slowly, exhausted but determined. In the living room, Tyler was babbling to Mom about my jealous lies while she tried to soothe him. Show her the letter, I suggested. Go ahead, let her see the acceptance you're so proud of. Tyler's hand went to his pocket, then stopped. I don't have it on me. It's in the kitchen trash, I said helpfully. Under the coffee grounds and eggshells. I saw it when I was looking for my hospital bag that someone shoved aside for beer storage. Mom stood slowly. Tyler, sweetheart, just show us the letter. Prove your sister wrong. The silence stretched. Tyler's mouth opened and closed like a fish. Finally, Aunt Dorothy marched to the kitchen. We heard rustling, then a gasp. She returned holding the stained coffee-soaked paper. Even from across the room, I could see the pixelated Stanford logo, the wrong font, the cheap paper quality. This, Dorothy's voice was faint. This is printed on regular copy paper. Stanford letters come on official letterhead, watermarked. Tyler, Mom's voice broke. Tell me this is real. My brother's bravado finally cracked. I was going to get in, I needed more time. The application deadline came so fast and everyone was expecting. You never even applied, I stated. It wasn't a question. You never even tried. Tyler's silence was answer enough. Mom sank onto the couch, her face ashen. The party. Everyone saw. Oh God, I told everyone. You destroyed my baby shower. I said quietly, for a complete lie. You risked my daughter's life for Tyler's fantasy. We didn't know, Mom protested. You didn't care, Matt corrected. You saw a chance to make Tyler the center of attention and you took it. The truth was irrelevant. I walked to the kitchen table, the same one where I'd planned to leave my evidence folder tomorrow. But why wait? The universe had already started unraveling their lies. Here's what's going to happen, I announced, returning with my laptop. Tyler is going to post a retraction on all his social media tonight, admitting he lied. I won't. Or I forward everything to Stanford with a formal complaint, I continued. Your choice, public embarrassment or being blacklisted from ever applying to any legitimate college. Tyler looked to Mom for salvation, but she was staring at the fake letter in horror. Do it, she whispered. Do what your sister says. Mom. Do it! Mom screamed, years of enabling finally crashing down. You lied to me. You made me destroy my daughter's shower for a lie. While Tyler sullenly typed his confession on his phone, I turned to my mother. The damage to my house will be paid by you and Tyler. Every cent. The apologies to my guests will come from both of you. And after that, I took a breath. We're done. You are no longer welcome in my life or Emma's. You can't keep my granddaughter from me, Mom protested. Watch me, I said simply. You chose Tyler's lie over Emma's life. You don't get to be her grandmother. Kara, please, Mom's voice cracked. I made a mistake. No, I interrupted. A mistake is forgetting to RSVP. This was a choice. 28 years of choices, actually, and I'm done being your second choice. Matt's hand found mine steady and warm. We should go. The hotel's expecting us. Hotel, Dorothy asked. You think we're staying here tonight? Matt gestured to the destruction. We'll be at the Marriott until the house is professionally cleaned. Bill goes to Patricia Morrison. That's you, he added when Mom looked confused. In case you forgot your own name like you forget your daughter's married one. We gathered essentials, stepping around beer stains and broken decorations. In the nursery, miraculously untouched, I grabbed Emma's ultrasound photo from the dresser. "She's strong," I whispered to the image. "Stronger than I ever was, and she'll never ever have to be invisible." As we reached the front door, Tyler's phone dinged repeatedly, his confession post already generating responses. Based on his sick expression, they weren't congratulations. "Kara." Mom called one last time. "This isn't over. We're family." I turned back, looking at the woman who'd given birth to me but never truly seen me. "No, Patricia. We were family. Now we're just strangers who share DNA." The hotel room was clean and quiet, a blessed sanctuary from the chaos. Matt ran me a bath while I sat on the bed, finally allowing exhaustion to hit. "You were amazing," he said, testing the water temperature. "I've never seen you like that." "I have never had someone to fight for before," I admitted, hand on my belly. "It changes everything." My phone buzzed with messages from real friends. Sarah, Grace, Mrs. Henderson, even Jennifer, all offering support and sharing photos they'd taken of the destruction for insurance purposes. Tyler's confession had gone viral in our social circle, the comments scathing. But the best message came from an unexpected source. Madison Tyler's ex-girlfriend. "Girl, I'm so sorry. I helped him pick out that fake letter paper. I thought it was for a prank, not this. I have texts of him admitting everything. Let me know if you need them. P.S. You're going to be an amazing mom." I forwarded the message to my evidence folder, then set the phone aside. Tomorrow would bring more chaos, more revelations, more family drama. But tonight, I was safe with Matt and Emma, finally free from the toxic cycle I'd been trapped in. "Ready for that bath?" Matt asked. I nodded, then paused. "Actually, one more thing." I grabbed the hotel stationery and wrote quickly. "Patricia and Tyler, the Stanford lie ends here. Evidence folder attached to this email also forwarded to relevant parties. Clean my house, pay for damages, then lose my number. Kara Thompson. Yes, Thompson. Learn it." I hit send, attaching everything I'd compiled. Then I turned off my phone completely. "Now, I told my husband I'm ready." As I sank into the warm water, I felt years of weight lifting. Tomorrow, my mother would find more than just evidence on her kitchen table. She'd find the consequences of a lifetime of favoritism, enabled lies, and neglected love. But that was tomorrow's chaos. Tonight, I was just Kara Thompson, wife, soon-to-be mother, and finally visible on my own terms. The hotel room was still dark when I woke at 5 a.m., my mind crystal clear despite the chaos of yesterday. Beside me, Matt slept peacefully, one hand protectively over my belly, even in sleep. Emma kicked gently as if saying good morning. "Ready to change everything, baby girl," I whispered carefully, extracting myself from bed. I'd been building to this moment for years without realizing it. Every dismissed hurt, every stolen celebration, every moment of invisibility. They'd all led here. But it wasn't anger driving me now. It was clarity. I opened my laptop and got to work. First, I created a master document titled "The Truth About Tyler Morrison." Clean, organized, irrefutable. Screenshots of his confession post from last night, already with 300 comments expressing shock and disgust. The fake letter side by side with Stanford's official format. The receipt from PrintQuick. The doorbell footage of the rehearsal. But I went deeper. Tyler's pattern of lies stretched back years, and last night's hotel Wi-Fi had been busy. His resume on LinkedIn claimed honors and awards that didn't exist. His dating profile listed a job he'd been fired from 6 months ago. Even his Instagram bio claimed Stanford 2028, posted 3 weeks before he'd supposedly received the letter. "Sweetheart." Matt stirred, watching me work. "How long have you been up?" "An hour. Look at this." I showed him what Madison had sent at 2 a.m. Screenshots of Tyler asking her to help him practice his Stanford acceptance speech, dated a full month ago. "He planned this for months," Matt said, disgust evident. "This wasn't impulse." "No, it was calculated, just like everything else." I pulled up another document. Remember his internship at Goldman Sachs last summer? "The one your mom wouldn't shut up about." "Never happened. He was working at GameStop. I have pay stubs from a source." Matt sat up fully. How deep does this go? Deep enough. I showed him folder after folder. The high school valedictorian claim he was ranked 43rd. The charity he founded. It was Jessica Martin's project. He just took credit after she moved away. Even his SAT scores were fabricated for family bragging rights. Your mom believed it all. She needed to believe it. Tyler being exceptional justified everything. The favoritism, the neglect, the emotional abuse disguised as supporting his potential. Sarah arrived at 7 with reinforcements, Grace Janet from work, and surprisingly, Aunt Dorothy. Before you say anything, Dorothy began, I stayed up all night thinking. Patricia showed me the evidence you sent, and I owe you an apology, a real one. I studied my aunt looking for the usual family manipulation tactics. Instead, I found exhaustion and what might have been genuine remorse. I watched him grow up, she continued. Watched Patricia excuse every lie, every failure, every cruel thing he did to you. I told myself it wasn't my business, but when I saw you on that floor yesterday pregnant and in pain while they celebrated a lie, she stopped composing herself. I'm done enabling them. What do you need? The truth, I said simply, all of it, on record. For the next 2 hours, Dorothy provided crucial context. Tyler's lies went back to elementary school, each one bigger than the last, each one rewarded with praise and attention. She had dates, details, proof. The soccer championship he supposedly won in 6th grade, the team didn't even make playoffs. The science fair project that went to state. He copied it from the internet and got disqualified. Patricia knew. She always knew. She just rewrote history to match her needs. Grace had been busy too. I spoke to my contact at Stanford. They're very interested in Tyler's fraudulent use of their name and letterhead. They're considering pressing charges. And I talked to the homeowner's insurance, Janet added. With the police report and photos, they're treating it as vandalism. Full coverage for repairs, and they'll go after Tyler and Patricia for reimbursement. Sarah pulled out her phone. The mom group chat is going nuclear. 17 women want to throw you a real shower next weekend. Mrs. Henderson is organizing. I started, but Sarah interrupted. Kara, stop. You deserve this. You deserve people who actually care about you and Emma. I blinked back tears, overwhelmed by the support. These women had rallied overnight, creating a network of care my own family never provided. Okay, Matt said, taking charge. What's the plan for this morning? I looked at my laptop at the comprehensive file I'd built. Originally, I was going to print everything and leave it on Mom's kitchen table. But now, Dorothy prompted. Now I think bigger. I pulled up my email. Mom's book club meets Tuesdays at 9. 16 women who've heard 28 years of lies about her perfect son and problematic daughter. You're not, Sarah breathed. I am, I started typing. Dear ladies of the Rosewood Book Club. Wait. Grace held up a hand. Before you go nuclear, think about Emma. Do you want this to define her family's story? I paused hands over the keyboard. She was right. This wasn't just about revenge. What would you do? I asked. Grace smiled. I'd give them one chance. Full truth, full accountability, full consequences. But one chance to make it right. Not for them. For you. So Emma grows up knowing her mother chose Grace when she could have chosen destruction. I looked at the women around me, my real support system. Then at Matt, who nodded. Your call, babe. Whatever you decide, we're behind you. I closed the email and opened a new document. This time I typed from my heart. Patricia and Tyler? By now, you've seen the evidence. You know the Stanford acceptance was fake, just like so many other achievements you've celebrated over the years. This pattern stops now. Here's what needs to happen. 1. Full written apologies to all baby shower guests. 2. Complete financial restitution for damages. 3. Public acknowledgement of the truth. 4. Professional therapy, both individual and family. 5. No contact with me or Emma until real change is demonstrated. This isn't negotiable. You chose a lie over my daughter's life. That choice has consequences. But here's what I won't do. I won't expose you publicly. I won't forward Tyler's fraud to Stanford. I won't destroy your reputations. Not because you deserve mercy, but because I refuse to let bitterness poison Emma's world. You have 72 hours to begin making amends. After that, all bets are off. Choose wisely. For once in your lives, choose love over lies. Kara. It's perfect, Dorothy said softly. More than they deserve, but perfect. I formatted everything carefully, the letter as the cover page, the evidence organized in appendices, proof without cruelty, truth without vengeance. I'll drive you, Matt offered, but I shook my head. Sarah, would you mind? I need Matt to stay with me in case I lose my nerve. Already grabbing my keys, she said. I printed everything at the hotel business center, 43 pages of truth. The weight of it felt symbolic, like holding years of pain transformed into possibility. What if they don't choose right? Janet asked. Then Emma grows up without grandparents who would prioritize lies over her life, I said firmly. That's not a loss. That's protection. As Sarah and I drove toward my mother's house, I thought about the kitchen table where I'd eaten thousands of meals as the invisible daughter, where Tyler's report cards were displayed but mine were filed away, where conversations flowed around me but never included me. Today that table would hold truth, not revenge, not cruelty, just truth. You sure about this? Sarah asked as we pulled into the driveway. I looked at the house where I'd never quite belonged. I've never been more sure of anything. The spare key was under the same fake rock it had been my entire life. The house was quiet, Mom and Tyler probably still asleep after their late night of damage control. I placed the folder exactly in the center of the kitchen table. No drama, no grand gestures, just truth waiting to be discovered. As we left, I noticed something I'd missed in yesterday's chaos. My childhood handprints in the concrete pathway, small and faint next to Tyler's larger, deeper impressions. Even in concrete, I'd been barely there. Not anymore. I whispered, hand on my belly. Emma's handprints will be bold and deep and celebrated. Back at the hotel, my chosen family waited with breakfast and support. Dorothy had brought ultrasound frames. Grace had baby name books. Janet had printed information about family lawyers, just in case. So what now? Matt asked, pulling me close. Now we wait, I said, and whatever happens, we move forward. Emma's shower is Saturday, our real friends are here, and our future doesn't depend on their choices. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number that turned out to be, Mrs. Chen, saw someone leaving your mother's house. Time for neighborhood to know truth about that boy. My roses demand justice. I laughed. Actually laughed. The neighborhood gossip network would ensure everyone knew about Tyler's lies within hours. Natural consequences in action. Thank you, I said to the room at large. All of you, for seeing me when my own family couldn't. Honey, Grace said gently, we've always seen you. You're just finally seeing yourself. Emma kicked strongly, and I knew Grace was right. Yesterday's invisible daughter was today's fierce mother, and that was the only transformation that mattered. My phone showed 8:47 a.m. when the first call came through. I let it go to voicemail, my hands steady as I sipped herbal tea in the hotel room, surrounded by my real support system. Sarah had returned from the drop-off mission, and we all waited in companionable silence. At 8:52, the text started. Mom, what is this? Mom, Kara, answer your phone. Mom, this can't be real. At 8:56, Tyler joined in. Tyler, you psycho Tyler, I'll sue you for defamation. Tyler, Mom found your folder. Mom is crying. I turned my phone face down. Sarah, you want to handle social media documentation? I have a feeling things are about to get interesting. Already on it, she said, scrolling through her feeds. Oh, wow, Tyler's confession post from last night has over 1,000 comments now. People are sharing screenshots everywhere. Dorothy's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and showed me Patricia. "Answer it," I said. "Put it on speaker." Dorothy took a breath and accepted the call. "Patricia." "Dorothy." Mom's voice was shrill, hysterical. "Did you know about this? Did you know what Kara was planning?" "I knew she was done being your doormat, if that's what you're asking." "She's destroyed everything. There's proof of Tyler's. And she has videos. And the Stanford letter. Dorothy, what am I going to do?" Dorothy's voice was calm. "For starters, you could try telling the truth for once in your life. But everyone will know, the book club, the neighbors, the family. They'll all know Tyler lied. They already know Patricia. His confession is all over social media. The question is, what are you going to do about it?" A muffled sob, then, "Where's Kara? I need to talk to her. She has to fix this." "Fix it." Dorothy's voice hardened. "Like she fixed every other mess Tyler made. No, this time you fix your own disaster." She hung up as Mom started wailing about family loyalty. "That was satisfying," Dorothy admitted. 20 years of biting my tongue finally over. Janet's phone buzzed. "Oh, this is Rich. Apparently Tyler just showed up at Print Quick demanding they deny making his fake letter." Jake's response. He posted the security footage of Tyler ordering it on the shop's Instagram. I felt a strange calm settling over me. For years, I'd protected them from consequences smoothed over their lies, made myself smaller so Tyler could seem bigger. Now, watching the truth cascade through their carefully constructed facade, I felt free. Matt's phone rang next, Mom again trying different avenues. "Don't answer," I said, but he shook his head. "I've got some things to say." He accepted the call. "Patricia." "Matt, thank God. You have to talk sense into Kara. She's hormonal, not thinking clearly." "Stop." His voice could have frozen fire. "My wife is thinking more clearly than she has in 28 years. You're the one who's delusional if you think we're going to sweep this under the rug." "But family, you risked my daughter's life for a lie. You destroyed my wife's celebration for your golden child's fraud. Family. You don't know the meaning of the word." "We didn't know it was fake." "You knew you were hurting Kara. That's always been enough for you." He hung up on her protests. Grace had been monitoring email. "Kara, you need to see this. Tyler's trying to do damage control." She showed me a mass email he'd sent to extended family, "Dear family. You may have seen some misleading information about my Stanford acceptance. While there was a mix-up with documentation, I want to assure everyone that my academic achievements are real and—" "Mix-up with documentation," Sarah snorted. "Is that what we're calling fraud now?" But the responses were brutal. Family members were reply-alling with their own Tyler stories. "Cousin Michael, is this like the mix-up when you claimed you won the state chess championship but were actually disqualified for cheating? Aunt Rebecca, or the mix-up, when you told everyone you were volunteering at the hospital but were actually banned for stealing supplies? Uncle James, I want my $500 graduation gift back if you're not actually going to Stanford." The avalanche had started and nothing could stop it now. At 9:15, Dorothy's phone rang again. This time she didn't need to put it on speaker. We could hear Mom screaming from across the room. "The book club knows Helen Chambers just called to say I'm no longer welcome 15 years of book club Dorothy." "Natural consequences," Dorothy said simply and hung up. I pulled up my laptop and logged into the neighborhood Facebook group. The drama had already arrived. Helen Chambers. In light of recent revelations about fraud and property damage, the Rosewood Book Club is restructuring. New members welcome liars need not apply. Mrs. Chen still waiting for compensation for my award-winning roses, with interest. Mrs. Henderson, Kara Thompson's real baby shower is this Saturday. Only genuine friends invited. 3 neighbors had posted Ring doorbell footage of Tyler's party destroying property. The HOA president had scheduled an emergency meeting about the Morrison incident. "Kara," Janet said gently, "how are you feeling about all this?" I considered the question honestly. Relieved. Sad that it came to this, but relieved. Like I can finally breathe. My phone buzzed with a call from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Is this Kara Thompson?" The voice was professional clipped. "Yes." "This is Margaret Wu from Stanford's Office of Admissions. We received your email regarding Tyler Morrison's fraudulent claims. We take these matters very seriously. We'll need a formal statement." I provided the information requested, forwarding the evidence file. Ms. Wu's tone grew increasingly grim as she reviewed it in real time. "Mrs. Thompson, I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. Fraudulent use of Stanford's name and letterhead is a federal crime. We'll be pursuing this through appropriate channels." "I don't want him arrested," I said quickly. "I just want the lies to stop." "That's admirable, but the decision may be out of your hands. He's been soliciting money under false pretenses. That's wire fraud." After I hung up, the room was quiet. The weight of what I'd set in motion hit me fully. "I might have just gotten my brother arrested," I said numbly. "No," Grace corrected firmly. "Tyler got Tyler arrested. You just stopped enabling him." Sarah's phone dinged repeatedly. "Oh boy, Tyler's girlfriend Madison is going scorched earth on Instagram. She's posting screenshots of every lie he told her. Fake job, fake achievements, even a fake allergy to get out of her cousin's wedding." I thought about Tyler probably pacing Mom's kitchen, watching his carefully constructed image crumble in real time. Part of me, the part trained to protect him, wanted to call it off. But then Emma kicked, reminding me why I couldn't. "They have 72 hours, I reminded myself. They can still choose accountability." But even as I said it, I knew they wouldn't. Mom's next text confirmed it. "You've ruined our family. I'll never forgive you for this. Tyler made one mistake and you've destroyed his entire future. I hope you're happy." One mistake. 28 years of lies reduced to one mistake. "Actually," I said to the room, surprising myself with a smile, "I am happy. For the first time in my life, I'm choosing truth over comfort, Emma over enablement, myself over martyrdom." "That's our girl," Janet said, raising her orange juice in a toast. "To Kara Thompson, mother warrior, and finally visible." We clinked glasses as my phone lit up with another barrage of messages, but I didn't need to read them. The truth was on the kitchen table, spreading through social media, confirmed by Stanford themselves. The perfect family image was shattered beyond repair. And from the shards, something new could grow. Something honest. Something real. Something worth passing on to Emma. "So," Sarah said grin-wicked, "who wants to help plan the best damn baby shower this town has ever seen?" The hotel room erupted in excited planning, and I let their joy wash over me. Tomorrow would bring more fallout, more family drama, more consequences. But today, I was just Kara Thompson, visible at last, surrounded by chosen family who saw me for exactly who I was. And that was more than enough. By noon, the Morrison family group chat had become a digital war zone. I watched from my hotel bed mapped beside me as 23 years of family dynamics imploded in real time. Dorothy had added me back to the chat an hour ago, and I'd been silently screenshotting everything. "Uncle James, Tyler, I want an answer. Did you actually get into Stanford or not?" Cousin Michael, "He already admitted he lied. Check his Instagram." Aunt Rebecca, Patricia, "How could you let this happen?" "Mom, this is Kara's fault. She's turned everyone against us." Grandma Rose, my father's mother, typing in all caps as always. "Patricia Morrison, you have some explaining to do. Frank would be ashamed." The mention of my late father silenced the chat for a full minute. Then Tyler made the mistake of defending himself. "Tyler, Grandma, I was going to apply to Stanford. Kara's just jealous and hormonal." "Grandma Rose, boy, I've been watching you lie since you were 5. Remember the broken vase you blamed on Kara? I knew it was you. We all did." The floodgates opened. Story after story poured out. Lies I'd been blamed for achievements Tyler had stolen family events where I'd been sidelined for his manufactured glory. Cousin Jessica, wait, Tyler. You told everyone you started the recycling program at Jefferson High. That was my project. I have the newspaper clipping. Uncle David, is this why you needed $3,000 for Stanford application fees last month? Aunt Linda, $3,000. He told me it was $5,000. My phone rang. Grandma Rose, switching to voice when typing, became insufficient for her fury. Kara, honey, are you safe? Are you and the baby okay? We're fine, Grandma. We're at a hotel until the house is cleaned. Good. You stay away from that circus. I'm driving up there right now to deal with your mother. Grandma, you don't have to. 60 years, she interrupted. 60 years I've watched Patricia favor that boy while treating you like furniture. Your father would spin in his grave if he knew. I'm done keeping silent. She hung up with a promise to see me soon away from the chaos. I could picture her all 5 feet of righteous fury getting in her Lincoln Continental for the 3-hour drive. Your grandmother's kind of terrifying, Matt observed. She's the only one who ever stood up for me. Dad tried, but I trailed off, not wanting to speak ill of the father who died when I was 15, before he could fully shield me from Mom's favoritism. Sarah burst through the adjoining door. You need to see what's happening at your mom's house. Lisa's doing a Facebook Live from across the street. We crowded around her phone watching as several cars pulled up to Mom's house. Family members were arriving in person and none looked happy. Is that Aunt Rebecca with a baseball bat? Janet squinted at the screen. That's her souvenir bat from the Yankees game, Dorothy confirmed. She's not violent, just expressive. Through Lisa's commentary, we could hear shouting from inside the house. Then the front door burst open and Tyler stumbled out Uncle James right behind him. $5,000. You scammed $5,000 from family members for a fake college acceptance. It wasn't a scam, Tyler protested. I was going to pay it back. With what money from the job you lied about having? More family members spilled onto the lawn. Mom appeared, mascara streaking down her face, trying to restore order. Everyone calm down. This is a family matter. Damn right, it's a family matter. That was Aunt Linda. My husband works 2 jobs, and I gave your con artist's son our vacation fund. The Facebook Live comments were brutal but accurate. Finally, someone's calling out the golden child. Team Kara all the way. Wait till they find out about his fake charity work. That last comment made me freeze. Sarah, pull up Tyler's LinkedIn again. There it was listed prominently, founder and CEO Hearts for Hope Foundation, the charity he'd claimed to start for underprivileged kids, the one Mom had bragged about at every family gathering. Grace, I said slowly, can you check if this charity is registered? Her fingers flew across her phone. No registration in this state, no 501c3 status, no anything. It doesn't exist. But he did fundraising, Janet said. I remember the car wash, the bake sales. We all reached the same conclusion simultaneously. Tyler hadn't just lied. He'd been collecting money for a non-existent charity. That's fraud, Matt said. Actual prosecutable fraud. My phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized the voice immediately. Marcus Chen, Mrs. Chen's son, and a detective with the local police. Kara, I'm calling unofficially. We've had multiple complaints about Tyler today. Fraud, property, damage, theft. I wanted to give you a heads up. We're opening an investigation. Marcus, I didn't mean for... You didn't do anything wrong. But if Tyler collected money for a fake charity that's a felony, we have to investigate. After I hung up, the room was silent. Even Sarah's usual chatter had died. On the Facebook Live, we watched Grandma Rose's Lincoln Continental pull up to Mom's house. She emerged like an avenging angel in orthopedic shoes. Patricia Morrison. Her voice carried clearly across the neighborhood. Get your lying son and your enabling behind out here now. Should we go over there? Sarah asked. Absolutely not, I said firmly. This is their mess to clean up. But we couldn't look away from the screen. Grandma Rose had corralled the entire family onto the front lawn, Tyler and Mom in the center, like defendants at trial. "I have receipts," Grandma announced, waving a manila folder. 23 years of receipts. Every lie Tyler told. Every time Kara took the blame. Every achievement he stole from her or someone else. "Grandma, please," Tyler started. Silence. She turned to the assembled family. "Did you know Tyler's valedictorian status, Kara, was valedictorian? Tyler was barely top 50, but Patricia made Kara turn down the speech so Tyler could feel special." Gasps from the family. I remembered that day. Mom convincing me that speaking would stress me out, that Tyler needed the confidence boost more. The science fair winner, Kara's project. The essay contest, Kara's writing with Tyler's name. The volunteer hours that got him into Honors Society, Kara's work at the hospital. "That's not true," Mom protested. "I have the receipts, Patricia, including the email where Kara's teacher questioned why her essay was submitted under Tyler's name. You want me to read your response?" Mom went pale. Even from the grainy video, I could see her swaying. Grandma Rose continued her methodical destruction. 23 years of lies laid bare in the spring sunshine. By the end, Tyler had shrunk into himself while Mom openly sobbed. "And now," Grandma Rose concluded, "he's committed actual crimes, fraud, theft, and you enabled every bit of it." "What do you want from us?" Mom wailed. "I want you to make it right, starting with a full public apology to Kara, then returning every cent Tyler stole, then therapy, intensive therapy, and until you do all of that—" She paused dramatically. "You're both dead to this family." The assembled relatives murmured agreement. One by one, they returned to their cars, leaving Mom and Tyler alone on their lawn with Grandma Rose. "As for you," she pointed at Tyler, "turn yourself into the police before they come for you. Show 1 ounce of the integrity your sister has always had." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and Patricia, I'm changing my will. Everything I plan to leave Tyler is going to Emma's college fund. Everything I plan to leave you is going to Kara. Act right for the next few years, and maybe I'll reconsider." The Facebook Live ended as Grandma Rose drove away, leaving devastation in her wake. My phone immediately rang, Mom hysteric. "Are you happy now? You've destroyed everything. Your grandmother hates me. The family won't talk to us. Tyler's going to be arrested." "Mom," I said calmly, "I gave you 72 hours to make this right. You've wasted 3 of them playing victim. 69 hours left. How can I make it right when you've turned everyone against us?" "I didn't turn anyone against you. The truth did that." I took a breath, channeling Grandma Rose's strength. "Here's the reality. Tyler committed crimes. Multiple crimes. You enabled him. Now you both face consequences. You can either accept responsibility and start making amends, or you can keep playing victim until you're in adjoining jail cells." "Jail Kara, you can't be serious." "Wire fraud for the Stanford scam, charity fraud for the fake foundation, theft for the money he took from family, destruction of property from yesterday. Mom, he's looking at serious time unless he gets ahead of this." Silence. Then quietly, "What should we do?" "Exactly what Grandma said. Apologize. Return the money. Get therapy. Turn himself in. Show genuine remorse. It's his only chance." "And if we do all that, will you forgive us? Will you let us see Emma?" I looked at Matt, who shook his head slightly. But I thought of Emma, of the family I wanted her to know, versus the family that existed. "Ask me again in a year," I said finally. "After you've shown real change, after Tyler's faced justice, after you've proven Emma's safety matters more than Tyler's ego." "A year? Mom, you've had 28 years to see me. A year to learn how is generous." I hung up as she started to protest. Around me, my chosen family sat in stunned silence. "Holy crap," Sarah finally said. "Your grandma's a badass." She always knew, I realized. All these years, she knew everything. She was just waiting for me to be strong enough to hear it. Janet raised her water glass. To Grandma Rose, and to Kara, who's apparently inherited her spine of steel. As we toasted, my phone lit up with messages from family members. Apologies, support offers to testify about Tyler's lies. The family I'd thought was lost to Tyler's manipulations had just been waiting for someone to speak truth. And tomorrow, when the police inevitably came for Tyler, more truth would emerge. The fake charity, the stolen money, the years of fraud. But today, watching my family finally see what had always been there, I felt something I'd never expected: gratitude. Grateful for Grandma Rose's courage, grateful for friends who became family, grateful for the strength to protect Emma from ever experiencing what I had. You know what? I said, surprising myself with a smile. I think we should go look at houses tomorrow, away from this neighborhood. Fresh start for our little family. Matt kissed my temple. I know a great realtor. And Kara, I'm proud of you. Your dad would be too. As another wave of family drama played out via text and social media, I closed my eyes and pictured the future. Emma in a sunny nursery far from toxic dynamics. Holidays with chosen family who saw us clearly. Truth as our foundation, not lies. It was worth every difficult moment to get here, and it was only the beginning. The police arrived at Mom's house at 7 a.m. the next morning. I watched through the living room window of our hotel, which happened to overlook the neighborhood, as 2 patrol cars pulled up. Marcus Chen had given me a courtesy heads up the night before. They'd found enough evidence to bring Tyler in for questioning. You don't have to watch this, Matt said, gently bringing me herbal tea. I need to see it through, I replied, my hand resting on Emma's morning kicks. All of it. Through the window, I could see Tyler being led out in handcuffs. Even from this distance, his body language screamed indignation. Mom followed, gesticulating wildly at the officers. The whole neighborhood was watching. Mrs. Chen from her rebuilt rose garden, Mrs. Henderson from her porch, various neighbors pretending to check their mail. My phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. He's not under arrest yet, just detained for questioning. But Kara, it's bad. The fake charity alone involved over $30,000. $30,000, stolen from well-meaning people who thought they were helping underprivileged kids. Sarah knocked and entered with her laptop. You need to see this. Tyler tried to do damage control last night. She showed me his latest social media post made at 2 a.m. Family turning against me because of jealous sisters' lies. Everyone knows Kara's always been unstable. Pregnancy hormones making her delusional. The truth will come out, betrayed. Family scapegoat. The comments were not what he'd hoped for. Dude, you literally confessed to faking Stanford 3 days ago. My mom gave $500 to your charity. Where's her money? Unstable your sister seems like the only sane one in your family. The family scapegoat. The irony is thick. But the real bombshell came from an unexpected source. Jake from the print shop had posted a detailed timeline. Since Tyler Morrison wants to talk about truth, here's some complete record of every fake document I printed for him over 2 years. Yes, I kept copies. Yes, I'm cooperating with police. Maybe don't throw your accomplices under the bus. The list was damning. Fake Stanford acceptance letter April. Fake Goldman Sachs offer letter, previous summer. Fake Honor Society certificates, multiple. Fake charity registration documents. Fake recommendation letters. Even a fake hospital volunteer ID. He had a whole forgery operation going, Grace said, reading over our shoulders. This is extensive. Dorothy arrived with breakfast and updates. Patricia called me 15 times last night. She's in full denial mode. Apparently, this is all a conspiracy orchestrated by you to steal Tyler's rightful place in the family. His rightful place. I laughed bitterly. He's held that since birth. Not anymore, Dorothy said firmly. The family group chat has been busy. People are tallying up how much money he owes them. Current count is over $50,000. My phone rang. Grandma Rose. Sweetheart, I'm at the police station. Thought family should be present even if it's to ensure justice rather than enable escape. Grandma, you don't have to... Hush, I'm also here with my lawyer. We're filing a civil suit for the money Tyler took from me over the years. $15,000 in total, all documented. $15,000. Stanford application fees, business startup costs, emergency medical bills that never existed. Your mother always had a sob story and I always had a checkbook. No more. After we hung up, I sat in stunned silence. The scope of Tyler's deceptions was staggering. This wasn't just a spoiled kid telling lies. This was systematic fraud spanning years. Kara Janet had been quiet until now. There's something else. I've been in touch with some of Tyler's supposed employers. None of them have heard of him. He's been unemployed for 2 years, just pretending to go to work. Where did he go every day? Matt wondered aloud. Sarah's phone dinged. Madison just posted, "Oh my God." She says Tyler spent his days at the library creating fake documents and managing his false persona online. She found his notebooks, detailed plans for each lie, who, to tell what, how to get money from whom. I thought about Tyler sitting in the library for 8 hours a day crafting elaborate deceptions instead of just getting a job. The effort he'd put into lying could have built an actual career. A knock at the door interrupted my thoughts. A courier with a certified letter from Mom's lawyer. "She's lawyering up," Matt said, incredulous. I read quickly, then laughed. Actually, laughed. "She's threatening to sue me for defamation and emotional distress. Her lawyer clearly hasn't seen the evidence yet." Grace took the letter, scanned it with professional eyes. "This is posturing. No legitimate lawyer would pursue this after seeing the proof. Want me to respond?" "Please," I said, feeling exhausted despite the early hour. "I'm done playing their games." The morning progressed in waves of revelation. Tyler's high school reached out. They were reviewing his transcripts after receiving concerning information. 3 ex-girlfriends formed a group chat comparing lies he'd told each of them. The local newspaper wanted a statement. Through it all, Mom's texts grew increasingly unhinged. "You've destroyed my baby boy. This is all your fault. If anything happens to Tyler, I'll never forgive you. Why couldn't you just let him have this one thing?" That last one stopped me cold. One thing, as if Tyler hadn't taken everything always while I made myself smaller and smaller. "I need air," I announced, standing carefully. The stress was manageable now, but I was still mindful of Emma. "I'll come with you," Matt offered, but I shook my head. "Just to the hotel garden. I need quiet." The garden was peaceful, early morning sun filtering through leaves. I sat on a bench, breathing deeply when my phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized Tyler's voice immediately, calling from the police station. "Kara, you have to help me. Tell them it's all a misunderstanding. Tell them you lied." "Tyler, I can't." "You owe me." His voice cracked. "All those years of being perfect, being Mom's favorite. Do you know how hard that was? The pressure you got to coast by being invisible, while I had to be exceptional." I let that sink in. In Tyler's warped worldview, being ignored and diminished was coasting. Being handed everything while contributing nothing was pressure. "Tyler," I said quietly, "being exceptional would have meant actually achieving something. All you achieved was becoming a con artist. This is your fault if you hadn't been so jealous." "Goodbye, Tyler." I hung up, then blocked the number. When I returned to the room, everyone was watching the news. A reporter stood outside Mom's house detailing Tyler's alleged crimes. The story had gone beyond local gossip. This was regional news now. 28-year-old Tyler Morrison is being questioned in connection with multiple fraud schemes, including a fake charity that allegedly collected over $30,000. The reporter continued, but I stopped listening. On screen, they showed Tyler's photo, the one from his fake Stanford announcement, him smiling with that letter. The contrast with his mugshot, which would surely come, was going to be stark. "How are you feeling?" Sarah asked gently. I considered lying, saying I was fine, but these people had earned my truth. "Guilty," I admitted. Not for exposing him, but This is going to destroy Mom. She built her entire identity around Tyler being special. She built her identity on a lie, Dorothy said firmly. That's not your responsibility. A text from Grandma Rose. Tyler charged with wire fraud, charity fraud, and theft. Bail set at $50,000. Patricia screaming about selling house to pay it. Letter. The family group chat exploded again. Uncle James, do not pay his bail. He'll run. Aunt Rebecca. Patricia, if you sell your house to bail out your criminal son, you're on your own. Cousin Jessica. Maybe some jail time will finally teach him consequences. Mom, how can you all abandon him? He's family. Grandma Rose. So was Kara. Didn't stop you from abandoning her every day for 28 years. The chat went quiet after that. By afternoon, the full scope was clear. Tyler faced wire fraud charges for the fake Stanford donations, charity fraud for the non-existent foundation, multiple counts of theft, identity fraud for the forged documents, possible federal charges if he'd used mail or crossed state lines. He's looking at 10-15 years if convicted on everything, Grace explained. More if the feds get involved. I felt no satisfaction, only sadness. This could have been avoided if Mom had just said no to Tyler. Just once. Another knock at the door. This time it was a neighbor I barely knew holding a casserole dish. For you, she said awkwardly, we all knew something was off with your family. We should have said something sooner. I'm sorry. After she left, more neighbors came. Food flowers cards of support. People who'd watched Tyler torment me for years, finally feeling free to show kindness. You've started something, Janet observed. People are re-examining their own family dynamics, their own enabling. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, then saw the preview. This is Officer Chen. Tyler wants to make a deal. He'll confess to everything if you agree to speak on his behalf at sentencing. I stared at the message. Even now, even facing prison, Tyler thought I'd save him, that I'd diminish myself one more time to protect him. No, I said aloud, surprising myself with how easy it was. No more. I typed back, Tyler needs to face consequences without me cushioning the fall. I won't speak against him, but I won't speak for him either. He's on his own. Good for you, Matt said, reading over my shoulder. He needs to learn that you're not his safety net anymore. As evening approached, the news coverage expanded. Morrison fraud was trending locally. Someone had created a Facebook group for Tyler's victims to share their stories and coordinate restitution efforts. The member count was climbing rapidly. Sarah pulled up Mom's Facebook. Her profile picture, a photo of her and Tyler at his fake Stanford announcement, had hundreds of angry reactions. Her latest post was tone deaf. Praying for my son during this difficult misunderstanding. True friends will stand by us. The comments were brutal. Misunderstanding. He stole my money. Standing by criminals isn't friendship, Patricia. Your daughter needed you to stand by her. Remember, Kara, true friends don't enable con artists. She still doesn't get it, I murmured. She may never get it, Dorothy said gently. Some people can't admit they were wrong. It would mean rebuilding their entire world view. As night fell, I sat with my chosen family eating takeout and processing the day. Tyler was in jail, at least temporarily. Mom was in denial. The family was in uproar. The community was in shock. But in our hotel room, there was peace. Emma kicked gently, Matt held my hand, and my real support system surrounded me with love I'd never had to earn through invisibility. You know what's strange? I said. I thought I'd feel vindicated or relieved, but mostly I just feel empty. Like there's this Tyler-shaped hole in my life, and I don't know what to fill it with. Fill it with Emma, Sarah suggested. Fill it with the family you're building. Fill it with all the things you couldn't do while managing Tyler's disasters. She was right. For the first time in my life, I had space. Space to breathe, to grow, to be visible without apology. My phone lit up with one final message of the night. Marcus Chen. Tyler made full confession in exchange for reduced charges. He's looking at 5 to 7 years minimum. Thought you should hear it from me first. 5 to 7 years. By the time Tyler got out, Emma would be in elementary school. She'd have years to grow strong and confident without her uncle's shadow diminishing her light. It's over, I said quietly. It's really over. No, Matt corrected, pulling me close. It's just beginning. Your real life without them starts now. As I drifted off to sleep that night, surrounded by truth and supported by real love, I made a promise to Emma. She would never question her worth, never shrink to make others comfortable, never doubt that she was seen valued and loved for exactly who she was. The cycle of invisibility ended with me, and that was the greatest gift I could give my daughter. 1 week later, I stood in the shower of our newly cleaned house, letting hot water wash away the hospital smell and lingering stress. The restoration company had done incredible work. You'd never know Tyler's party had destroyed the place. But deeper damage couldn't be fixed with industrial cleaners. Babe, Matt knocked gently. Your grandmother's here. I found Grandma Rose in the nursery running her weathered hands over the crib we'd assembled that morning. Her eyes were misty. Your father picked out a crib just like this for you, she said softly. Patricia wanted something fancier, more expensive, but Frank insisted on quality over show. I miss him, I admitted, joining her by the window. He'd be proud of you, standing up to them, protecting Emma. She turned to face me fully. But he'd also want you to hear what I came to say. I braced myself. Even Grandma Rose had limits to her support. Patricia came to see me yesterday, she continued. First time in 5 years she's visited without wanting money. How is she broken? Grandma Rose didn't sugarcoat it. Tyler's confession destroyed her. Not just the fraud, the full scope of his lies. She's been forced to see 28 years of delusion. I felt an unexpected twist of sympathy. Is she getting help? I drove her to a therapist myself. Real therapy, not the yes man she saw before, who enabled her enabling. Grandma pulled out her phone, showing me a photo. This came for you. It was a picture of a letter, Mom's handwriting, shaky but clear. Kara, I don't expect forgiveness. I'm not even writing to ask for it. I'm writing because Dr. Brennan says I need to acknowledge the truth, and the truth is this: I failed you. From your first breath, I failed you. Tyler was premature, difficult, needed extra attention. You were easy, quiet, self-sufficient. I told myself you didn't need me like he did. But the truth Dr. Brennan helped me see, I chose the easy path. Loving Tyler was simple. He demanded it, performed for it, made me feel special. Loving you required seeing you, and I was too lazy to look. Every milestone Tyler stole, I let him, because it was easier than fighting. Every achievement of yours I minimized because celebrating you meant admitting Tyler wasn't exceptional. Every cry for help I ignored because acknowledging your pain meant admitting my failure. I see it now. All of it. The birthday parties ruined the accomplishments stolen the baby shower. God, your baby shower. I watched you on your knees pregnant and in pain cleaning up after Tyler's lie, and I felt nothing. That's when I knew I was broken. I don't know how to fix 28 years of damage. I don't know if it can be fixed, but I want you to know Tyler's in prison where he belongs. I'm in therapy 3 times a week, and I sold my house, not for his bail, but to pay back everyone he stole from. I'm staying with Dorothy now, learning to be a person without Tyler as my purpose. It's hard. I'm 62 years old and discovering I don't know who I am beyond Tyler's mother. Don't respond to this. Don't feel obligated to do anything. I just needed you to know that I finally see you. Too late, but I see you. Patricia. I read it twice, tears streaming. It doesn't fix anything. No, Grandma agreed. But it's a start. The question is, what do you want to do with it? Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. Sarah's voice carried from downstairs. Kara, the news crew is here. I'd agreed to one interview, a local reporter who'd covered the story fairly. Diana Martinez was professional but warm, setting up in our living room with minimal fuss. "Just tell your truth," she encouraged as the cameras rolled. "Help other families recognize these patterns before they explode." So I did. For 20 minutes, I laid out the anatomy of family dysfunction, the golden child and the scapegoat, the enabling and the invisibility, the escalation that led to fraud and imprisonment. "What would you tell other invisible children?" Diana asked near the end. I thought carefully. Document everything. Find your chosen family. And remember, you can't save people who don't want saving. Save yourself instead. And Tyler, any message for your brother? I hope he uses this time to become the person he pretended to be. Actually earn something. Actually achieve something. It's not too late for him to build a real life. And your mother? I glanced at Grandma Rose, who nodded encouragingly. She's getting help. That's all I can ask for right now. After the crew left, my phone exploded with notifications. The interview wouldn't air until evening, but social media was already buzzing. The Facebook support group for Tyler's victims had grown to over 300 members. Someone had started a GoFundMe for Mrs. Chen's destroyed garden. The Stanford fraud story had been picked up by national outlets. "You're famous," Sarah teased, "the woman who brought down her own brother." "I didn't bring him down," I corrected. "I just stopped holding him up." Matt's phone rang. His mother in California, who'd been following the drama from afar. I could hear her excited voice. "The whole family is talking about it. Cousin Linda says this is better than any reality show." While he fielded family calls, I found myself in Tyler's old room. Mom had never changed it from his high school days. Trophies now revealed as purchased not earned certificates, forged photos of achievements stolen from others. "Thinking of turning it into a gym?" Sarah asked, finding me there. "Actually," I ran my hand along the wall. "I was thinking Emma's playroom. Fill it with real accomplishments. Her first drawing, her first steps. Everything earned, nothing stolen." "I love that. Redemption through truth." A text interrupted Marcus Chen. "Tyler's being transferred to state prison tomorrow. Thought you should know." State prison. My little brother, who'd never faced a consequence, harsher than time out, heading to real prison. I waited for guilt for the urge to intervene. It didn't come. Dorothy arrived for dinner, bringing news from Mom's therapy. "Dr. Brennan is excellent. She's not letting Patricia wallow or play victim. Today's session was about taking accountability without drowning in shame." "Is it working?" "Too early to tell. But Patricia did something remarkable yesterday." Dorothy pulled out her phone. She posted this. Mom's Facebook post was public, pinned to the top of her profile. "To everyone Tyler hurt, I enabled him. I funded him. I believed his lies because they made me feel special. I failed as a mother twice, by creating a criminal and by destroying my daughter. I'm working to pay back every cent he stole. I'm in intensive therapy. I don't expect forgiveness, but I owe you the truth. Tyler is a fraud. I am complicit. Kara is the only honest Morrison. I'm sorry." The comments ranged from skeptical to supportive, but the gesture was significant. Public accountability from someone who'd spent decades managing image above all. "It's a start," I conceded. Dinner was lively, our chosen family filling the house with warmth it had lacked during the shower. Mrs. Henderson brought her famous lasagna. Grace's husband told terrible dad jokes. Sarah's daughter played peekaboo with my belly, giggling when Emma kicked in response. "This," Matt said, surveying the scene, "is what family looks like." As we were cleaning up, my phone rang, a number I recognized but hadn't seen in years, my college roommate, Bethany. "Kara, I saw the interview preview. Girl, I am so proud of you. Remember sophomore year when Tyler took credit for your biology project?" I'd forgotten about that. How many instances had I buried, "You knew"? "We all knew. We just didn't know how to help. You seemed so resigned to it." We talked for an hour, resurrecting memories I'd suppressed. By the end, I had invitations to visit, promises to reconnect a whole network of support I'd never known existed. "They were all waiting," I told Matt later. "All these people who saw the truth but didn't know how to break through the wall I'd built." "You weren't ready then," he said simply. "You are now." The interview aired at 6. I couldn't watch. Too surreal seeing myself on TV. But the response was immediate and overwhelming. My phone crashed twice from notifications. Strangers sharing their own stories of sibling abuse, parental favoritism, family fraud. One message stood out. A woman named Claire. "Your story gave me courage to report my sister. She's been stealing from our parents for years, and they enable it. Watching you choose truth over comfort changed my life." "You're helping people," Grace said, reading over my shoulder. "This is bigger than Tyler now." She was right. What started as protecting Emma had become something larger. A conversation about toxic family dynamics, about the price of silence, about choosing health over history. As bedtime approached, I did my nightly ritual of talking to Emma. "Your uncle's in prison, sweet girl. Your grandmother's in therapy. Your great-grandmother is fierce and loving. And your mama, she's learning to be visible. For you. For me. For all the invisible daughters who deserve to be seen." Emma kicked. Strong, sure, uncompromising. Already making her presence known. "That's my girl," I whispered. "Never let anyone dim your light." A final text arrived as I was heading to bed. An unknown number, but the message made it clear. "This is Dr. Brennan, Patricia's therapist. She wanted me to tell you she watched the interview. She cried through the whole thing, not from self-pity, but from really seeing what she missed. The beautiful, strong daughter she never noticed. She wants you to know she's committed to earning the right to know Emma, however long it takes." I showed Matt the message. "What do you think?" "I think healing isn't linear," he said carefully. "I think people can change, but trust has to be earned. I think we take it one day at a time and see what grows from truth instead of lies." One day at a time. It sounded manageable. It sounded possible. As I fell asleep, I thought about the baby shower that had started everything. How different life might have been if Tyler had simply let me have that one day. But then I thought about today. The interview, the support, the chosen family, the possibility of redemption, and realized something profound. I was grateful. Not for the pain or the betrayal or the years of invisibility, but for the breaking point that forced me to choose myself, for the crisis that revealed true family, for the strength I'd found in protecting Emma. Tyler's fake announcement had destroyed my shower but birthed my freedom. And that irony, that was worth more than any party could have been. Tomorrow would bring more challenges. Tyler's sentencing, Mom's continued therapy, the ongoing work of healing. But tonight, visible and valued and surrounded by love, I was exactly where I needed to be. The reckoning had come, and we'd all survived it, scarred but stronger, broken but building apart, but finally free to heal. 1 month later, I sat in Dr. Sarah Kim's office for my weekly therapy session. After years of being the family stabilizer, I'd finally acknowledged I needed help processing everything too. "How are you feeling about tomorrow?" Dr. Kim asked gently. Tomorrow. Tyler's official sentencing. 5 to 7 years, as Marcus had predicted, with possibility of parole in 3 for good behavior. The courtroom would be packed with his victims seeking closure. "Relieved it's almost over," I admitted. Guilty for feeling relieved. Angry that I feel guilty. It's complicated. "You're allowed to have complicated feelings about complicated situations," she reminded me. "What else?" "Mom wants to come to the sentencing. She asked if she could sit with me." "What did you tell her?" "That she could sit wherever she wanted, but I'd be with Matt and my support system." I paused. Was that too harsh? Was it honest? Yes. Then it was exactly right. I'd been working on that in therapy, distinguishing between cruelty and boundaries, between punishment and protection. After 28 years of having no boundaries, every line I drew felt like an attack. But Dr. Kim kept reminding me, walls built from wisdom weren't the same as walls built from spite. After therapy, I met Sarah for our new weekly tradition, baby shower planning round 2. Mrs. Henderson's backyard was transformed with lavender and silver decorations, a showering Emma with love, banner stretched between trees. The cake arrives at 2. Sarah confirmed, checking her list. And before you ask yes, I triple-checked that it says Emma and not Tyler. We both laughed, though it had taken weeks for that particular trauma to become humor. Your mom RSVP'd, Sarah added carefully. She wants to know if she can contribute food. I considered this. Mom had been consistent in her therapy, her accountability, her restitution efforts, but trust was harder to rebuild than credit. She can bring a side dish, I decided. Something small, nothing that puts her at the center. Growth, Sarah said approvingly. 6 weeks ago, you would have either banned her completely or let her take over. True, balance was harder than extremes, but healthier too. That evening, I found Matt in the nursery assembling the changing table we'd finally ordered. The room was coming together beautifully. Soft grays and yellows, nothing pink or blue, just peaceful and welcoming. Diana Martinez called, he said, not looking up from the instructions. She wants to do a follow-up interview after the sentencing. I don't know if I have anything left to say. You don't have to decide now. He set down his screwdriver, studying me. But Kara, your story has helped thousands of people. The invisible children finding their voices, that matters. He was right. The response to the interview had been overwhelming. Support groups forming, family dynamics changing, even a publisher reaching out about a potential book deal. My story of invisibility had ironically made me more visible than I'd ever imagined. I'll think about it, I promised. My phone buzzed, a text from Dorothy. Your mother made a breakthrough in group therapy today. Thought you should know. I'd been getting these updates regularly. Mom's progress reports filtered through Dorothy to respect the boundaries I'd set. Each one showed genuine growth, but also how deep the dysfunction had run. Do you think she'll ever really change? I asked Matt. I think she's trying, he said carefully. Whether that's enough is your decision. The next morning, I dressed carefully for court. Professional, but not stern. Strong, but not aggressive. I wanted Tyler to see who I'd become without his shadow, not triumphant over his fall, but thriving despite it. The courthouse was packed. Tyler's victims filled several rows, some I recognized, others learning about the scope for the first time. Media clustered outside the fraud case, having gained national attention as a cautionary tale about enabling and entitlement. I sat between Matt and Grandma Rose, Sarah, and Grace behind us. Dorothy sat in the middle section, a bridge between us and Mom, who sat alone near the back. I caught her eye once. She looked smaller, somehow diminished without Tyler to orbit around. When they brought Tyler in, I barely recognized him. Orange jumpsuit instead of designer clothes, shackles instead of swagger, reality instead of reputation. He scanned the crowd until he found me, and for a moment I saw my little brother. Not the entitled monster, but the scared kid who'd built lies because he didn't believe truth was enough. The judge was thorough reading each charge, each victim impact statement. Mrs. Chen spoke about her roses, but also about trust destroyed. Tyler's ex-employers detailed the chaos his fake work history had caused. The parents who donated to his fake charity wept as they described explaining to their children why their generosity had been stolen. When offered the chance to speak, Tyler stood slowly. I held my breath, hoping for genuine remorse, but preparing for manipulation. His voice cracked. He cleared his throat, started again. I told myself I was just playing the game, that everyone exaggerated their achievements, I was just better at it. But sitting in jail, reading these statements, seeing the damage, he looked directly at me. Kara, I'm sorry. Not sorry I got caught. Sorry I became someone who needed catching. Sorry I made your life smaller so mine could seem bigger. Sorry I couldn't just be your brother. The words felt real, but then again, Tyler had always been good with words. The judge sentenced him to 6 years with possibility of parole in 3. Fair, firm, final. As they led him away, Tyler looked back one more time. Not at Mom, who was silently sobbing. At me. He nodded once. Acknowledgement maybe, acceptance possibly. Then he was gone. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. I'd prepared a statement. Justice isn't revenge. It's accountability. Tyler's facing his consequences, and I hope he uses this time for genuine transformation. My focus now is on my daughter and building a family founded on truth. Thank you. Short, clear, done. Diana Martinez caught my elbow. That follow-up interview. Next week, I agreed. After my baby shower, my real one. Mom approached as the crowd dispersed Dorothy beside her for support. She looked fragile, but determined. Kara, She stopped, visibly collecting herself. Thank you for letting me come. I know I haven't earned that grace. You're working on it, I acknowledged. That matters. The therapy is hard. Dr. Brennan doesn't let me hide. Every session reveals another way I failed you. She took a shaky breath. I want to be better. For you, for Emma, for myself. I just don't know if it's possible to undo 28 years. You can't undo it, I said honestly, but you can choose differently going forward. She nodded, tears falling. The baby shower tomorrow, I made potato salad. Your grandmother's recipe, the one you loved. Is that acceptable? I felt the walls around my heart crack slightly. That's acceptable. As we drove home, Matt reached over to squeeze my hand. You okay? Yeah, I said, surprised to find it was true. It's done. Tyler's serving his time. Mom's doing her work. I'm doing mine. We're all exactly where we need to be. And tomorrow we celebrate Emma with people who see us support us, love us without conditions. I smiled. Tomorrow we shower our daughter with the love I always deserved but never demanded. That evening, as I laid out my dress for the shower, a flowing lavender that made me feel beautiful and strong, I thought about cycles, how they broke, how they began, how choosing differently once made the next choice easier. Emma kicked and I rubbed my belly. Tomorrow's your party, sweet girl, and I promise, it's all yours. No competition, no theft, no invisible moments, just love pure and simple and entirely focused on you. My phone buzzed with texts from friends confirming their attendance, sharing their excitement, offering help. The group chat Sarah had created was full of joy and anticipation, the energy my first shower should have had. You know what's funny? I told Matt as we got ready for bed. If Tyler hadn't destroyed the first shower, I might never have found my voice, never set boundaries, never discovered how many people were ready to support me once I stopped accepting crumbs. Silver linings. More like golden ones, painful but precious. I fell asleep easily that night, not worried about tomorrow's shower being hijacked or minimized. My boundaries were strong, my support system solid, my voice finally fully found. The rebuilding wasn't just about recovering from destruction. It was about constructing something new, something better. Something that had never existed in the Morrison family before. Healthy love, honest connection, and space for everyone to be seen. Tomorrow would be beautiful. Not perfect. Mom would be there with her potato salad and her therapy-coached accountability. The specter of Tyler's absence would linger. The scars of 28 years wouldn't magically heal. But it would be real. And real, I'd learned, was worth more than all the perfect lies in the world. Saturday arrived with perfect spring weather, as if the universe itself wanted to bless my real baby shower. I woke to Matt bringing breakfast in bed and Emma performing what felt like a full gymnastics routine in my belly. "Ready for your do-over?" he asked, setting the tray carefully beside me. "It's not a do-over," I corrected, buttering my toast. "It's the shower we should have had the first time." By noon, Mrs. Henderson's backyard looked like something from a magazine. Sarah had outdone herself, elegant without being ostentatious, personal without being exclusive. A photo station displayed ultrasound images and bump progression pictures. The gift table, reinforced and secured, we'd learned our lesson, waited ready. "Your mom's here," Grace announced quietly. "She's in the kitchen with Dorothy arranging her potato salad." I found them there, Mom carefully transferring her contribution to one of Mrs. Henderson's serving platters. She'd dressed simply, no attention-grabbing colors or jewelry. Her hands shook slightly as she worked. "It looks perfect," I said, meaning it. The potato salad was exactly as Grandma used to make. Mom looked up, hope flickering. "I added extra paprika the way you like." "You remembered." "I'm trying to remember a lot of things I chose to forget." She set down the spoon. "Dr. Brennan says acknowledgement without action is just performance. So I've been making lists, all the things I knew about you but never honored, starting with potato salad preferences." Before I could respond, Sarah appeared. "People are arriving, Kara. You look gorgeous." The next hour was everything my first shower should have been. Friends and chosen family filled the space with genuine joy. Colleagues who'd become friends, neighbors who'd revealed themselves as allies. Even some surprises. Bethany had flown in from Oregon bringing our other college roommate, Melissa. "We wouldn't miss this for anything," Bethany said, hugging me carefully. "The real shower for the real you." Games were played without interruption. Gifts were opened with full attention. Stories were shared about me, not Tyler. I found myself laughing until I cried, then crying from pure happiness. Speech, someone called out as we cut the cake. A beautiful creation that prominently featured Emma in fondant letters no one would dare scrape off. I stood looking around at the assembled group. Mom sat quietly in the back, not trying to redirect attention. Grandma Rose beamed from her seat of honor. Matt stood ready with tissues, knowing me well. 6 weeks ago, what should have been a celebration became a disaster, I began. But that disaster led to something beautiful, the discovery of who really sees me, supports me, loves me. Each of you chose truth over comfortable lies. You chose to show up for the real story, not the performance. I caught Mom's eye. She was crying, silently nodding. "Emma is lucky," I continued, "because she'll grow up surrounded by people who value authenticity over appearance, who celebrate real achievements, not stolen ones, who see her for exactly who she is not, who we need her to be." "To Emma," Sarah raised her glass of punch. "To Emma," the crowd echoed. "And to her mama," Grandma Rose added firmly, "who finally learned to shine." As the afternoon wore on, I noticed Mom helping quietly, refreshing drinks, collecting used plates, supporting without centering herself. When Mrs. Chen arrived late, she'd been testifying at another fraud victim's case. Mom personally apologized for Tyler's destruction of her roses. "I've started a fund," Mom told her, "to replant your garden and compensate for the loss. Tyler will contribute when he's able, but I'm covering it now." Mrs. Chen studied her for a long moment. "Words are easy, actions matter." "I know," Mom agreed. "That's why I'm here with a check, not just apologies." I watched this interaction from across the yard, seeing something I'd never witnessed: my mother taking responsibility without excuses or deflection. "She's really trying," Dorothy said, appearing beside me. "Yesterday in therapy, she role-played apologizing to you for specific incidents. Broke down completely when she got to your 16th birthday. My 16th, when Tyler had announced he'd gotten his driver's license with a fake perfect score during my party, and Mom had given him my car keys to the car meant for me, because he earned it more. "I can't forget 28 years overnight," I said. "No one's asking you to, but maybe you can let her earn new memories alongside the old ones." Before I could answer, it was time for the shower's main event. Messages for Emma. Each guest had written something for my daughter to read when she was older. One by one, they shared their wishes. "Dear Emma," Grace read from her card, "May you always know your worth isn't determined by comparison to others, but by the light you bring to the world." Sweet Emma. Mrs. Henderson's weathered voice carried across the yard. "May you inherit your mother's newfound strength and never need 28 years to find your voice." When it was Mom's turn, she hesitated. I didn't know if I should. "Go ahead," I said, surprising us both. Mom unfolded her paper with trembling hands. "Dear Emma." I'm your grandmother, who failed your mother in every way that mattered. By the time you read this, I hope to have earned the right to be in your life. But if not, know this. Your mother's courage in choosing truth over comfort saved our entire family from drowning in lies. She broke the cycle I created. You are free because she was brave. Love the grandmother who is learning to see. The yard was silent except for sniffles. Mom sat down quickly, shrinking back to her corner. But something had shifted in the air. Not forgiveness exactly, but possibility. The shower wound down as evening approached. Guests helped clean without being asked. Gifts were loaded carefully into Matt's truck. Leftovers were distributed with love. Mom packed up her potato salad dishes quietly. Patricia, I called out as she headed to leave. She turned hope and fear warring on her face. Thank you for respecting the boundaries today. It helped. I'll keep respecting them, she promised, however long it takes. After she left, I sat with Grandma Rose in the garden's fading light. You did good today, sweetheart, she said, letting her in just enough to show growth without sacrificing yourself. Dr. Kim calls it titrated trust, I explained, small doses building tolerance slowly. Smart. Your father would be proud. I'm proud. That night, as Matt and I sorted through gifts in the nursery, I felt a profound sense of completion, not ending, beginning. The shower had been perfect, not because it was flawless, but because it was real. Look at this, Matt said, holding up a handmade quilt from the support group of Tyler's victims. Each square contained a message of hope, resilience, transformation. Even something beautiful came from his destruction. That's the thing about truth. I mused, running my fingers over the careful stitching. It destroys and creates simultaneously. Tyler's lies had to die for our truth to live. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, then saw it was from the prison email system. Tyler, Kara. I know I have no right to contact you. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know I've started real therapy here, not manipulation training. Actual work. The therapist says I have to trace back when the lying started, why I needed to be more than I was. It goes deep, deeper than I want to look, but I'm looking. I don't expect you to care or respond. I just wanted one thing between us to be true. I'm trying. For real this time. Give Emma my love. I'll work to deserve being her uncle someday. I showed Matt the message. Do you believe him? Does it matter his growth has to be for him, not for your forgiveness? He was right. I archived the message without responding. Maybe someday I'd be ready to engage. Maybe not. Either was okay. The nursery was finally complete as we placed the last gift, a silver frame from Diana Martinez containing a photo from today's shower. In it, I stood surrounded by truth-tellers and boundary respecters, one hand on my belly, my face radiant with hard-won joy. For Emma's wall, Matt suggested. Perfect. She should see what redemption looks like. As I got ready for bed, I thought about the word redemption. Not erasure of the past, but transformation of its meaning. Mom taking accountability instead of making excuses. Tyler choosing therapy over manipulation. Me finding voice after decades of silence. You know what I realized today? I told Matt as we settled in for the night. I spent so long trying to be visible to people who refused to see me. But I was always visible to the people who mattered. I just had to stop looking in the wrong direction. Emma kicked her agreement and I smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Mom's continued journey toward trustworthiness. Tyler's long road to authentic self. My own work in maintaining boundaries while allowing for growth. But tonight, full of cake and love and possibility redemption, felt less like a destination and more like a choice. One we could make daily and perfectly honestly. The second shower had redeemed the first, not by erasing its pain, but by proving joy could exist alongside scar tissue. That broken things could be rebuilt stronger. That invisible girls could become women who refused to disappear. And that was the greatest gift of all. 2 weeks before my due date, I stood in the hospital nursery viewing room, watching a new father cradle his hours-old daughter. The way he looked at her, like she'd hung the moon, made my eyes well with hormones and hope. "Soon," Matt whispered his hand on my lower back. "That'll be us soon." We'd come for my final checkup, but I'd been drawn to this window, this preview of our future. Emma was head down, ready, perfect. The stress of 2 months ago hadn't caused any lasting harm. My daughter was a fighter, just like her mama was learning to be. Kara. I turned to find Mom standing hesitantly in the hallway, a small gift bag in her hands. We'd had limited contact since the shower. She'd respected my boundaries while consistently showing up to therapy and victim restitution meetings. "I was visiting someone," she explained quickly, not wanting me to think she was stalking. "Saw you through the window. I can leave." "It's okay." I was surprised to find I meant it. "Who are you visiting?" "Margaret Wilson, from book club. She's recovering from surgery and She paused, choosing words carefully. "Dr. Brennan suggested I practice showing up for people without making it about me, so I brought magazines and just listened to her talk about her grandkids for an hour." The old mom would have redirected every story to Tyler's achievements. This small act of genuine presence felt monumental. "That's good, Mom, really good." Her face lit up at the word Mom. I'd been calling her Patricia for months. "I have something for Emma," she said, offering the bag. "Not for you to open now, for after she's born, when you're ready, if you're ever ready." I accepted the bag, noting its lightness. "Thank you." "How are you feeling? Any contractions?" "Braxton Hicks, mostly. Doctor says everything's on track." "Good, that's good." She shifted awkwardly. "I'll let you go. Just wanted to say I'm thinking of you. Both of you, all 3 of you." As she walked away, Matt observed, "She seems different." "She's trying," I acknowledged. "Whether it's lasting change or performance, time will tell." That evening, curiosity got the better of me. I opened Mom's gift in the privacy of our bedroom. Inside was a small leather journal and a letter. For Emma's mother to decide when, if to share. "This journal contains something I should have kept for you. A record of your achievements, your milestones, your light. I started it today and will add to it regularly, not to earn forgiveness, but to practice seeing." Today's entry. "Your mother stood in the hospital hallway 9 months pregnant, glowing with purpose I never let myself see before. She's built a life on truth while I built mine on lies. She protects you already, little Emma. You won the lottery getting her as your mom. Love a word I'm learning the weight of your grandmother." I opened the journal. The first entry, dated today, was brief. "Kara mastered parallel parking at 15 first try. I told everyone Tyler taught her. Truth she taught herself with library books and sheer determination. She never corrected my lie. Such a small thing, but the acknowledgement of truth felt enormous." "You okay?" Matt asked, seeing my tears. "Yeah, just processing." The next days passed in a blur of final preparations. The nursery was ready. Bags were packed. Work leave was arranged. Sarah threw a small blessing way ceremony with just our inner circle, where instead of gifts, everyone offered wishes for an easy delivery and healthy baby. Even Tyler sent a card through the prison email system. A simple, "Thinking of you as Emma's arrival approaches, working on becoming an uncle worth knowing. T." I'd started a file for Emma letters and cards from people who loved her before she was even here. Proof that she was wanted, celebrated, seen from her first breath. On a quiet Tuesday morning, I woke to a different kind of pressure. Not painful, just purposeful. "Matt," I nudged him gently. "I think it's time." He jackhammered out of bed, instantly alert. "Contractions. How far apart should I time them?" "Slow down," I laughed. "Let's just see how things progress." But things progressed quickly. By noon, we were at the hospital. By evening, I was in active labor. And just after midnight, after 14 hours of work that made Tyler's crimes seem like a cakewalk, Emma Rose Thompson entered the world. 7 pounds, 2 ounces of perfection. Dark hair like mine, Matt's nose, and a voice that announced her presence without apology. "She's here." I sobbed, holding her for the first time. "She's really here." "She's perfect," Matt whispered, tears streaming. "Absolutely perfect." The next hours were a blur of firsts. First feeding, first diaper, first time she grabbed my finger with her impossibly tiny hand and held on like she'd never let go. Sarah arrived at dawn with balloons and tears. "She's gorgeous, look at those cheeks." Grace and Janet came together cooing appropriately. Mrs. Henderson brought homemade soup. Grandma Rose held Emma with practiced ease, whispering family stories I hoped were about the good parts. "Should I tell your mom?" Dorothy asked gently that afternoon. "She's been texting me every hour." I looked at Emma sleeping peacefully in my arms. She'd never know invisibility, never question her worth, never shrink to accommodate someone else's ego. But she could know redemption if it was real. "Tell her she can visit tomorrow," I decided. 15 minutes, Dorothy comes too. The next morning, Mom appeared in my doorway with Dorothy holding a small vase of daisies. My favorite, not Tyler's roses. She looked nervous, hopeful, afraid. "Hi," she said softly. "Thank you for letting me come. Would you like to hold her?" Mom's hands shook as I placed Emma in her arms. For a moment, she just stared, tears falling silently. "She looks like you," she whispered. "Exactly like you at this age. I have a photo somewhere. You kept my baby photos." Mom looked up, shame clear on her face. "In a box in the attic. I kept everything, I just never looked, never displayed them, never—" She trailed off, returning her gaze to Emma. "Hello, little one. I'm your grandmother who's learning to see. And I see you. I see you completely." Emma yawned, tiny fist waving, and Mom laughed through her tears. "I won't let her be invisible," Mom said suddenly, fiercely. "I won't let anyone dim her light. Not even me. Especially not me." "That's all I need to hear," I said honestly. The 15 minutes stretched to 30 as Mom shared memories I'd never heard. My first word book, my first steps toward the dog, my first full sentence, "I do it myself." Things she'd witnessed but never celebrated, finally given voice. After they left, Matt brought in more visitors, the room filled with people who'd supported us through the darkness, now celebrating our light. Diana Martinez came with her cameraman for a brief follow-up, the story of redemption and new beginnings. That evening alone with our daughter, for the first time, I opened my phone to find hundreds of messages. Congratulations, love, support from near and far. The Facebook group of Tyler's victims had started a college fund for Emma. The local news had picked up her birth announcement with the headline, "New Beginning for Family That Chose Truth." But the message that stopped me was from the prison email system. "Congratulations, Cara. Welcome to the world, Emma Rose. I'm in my cell doing math. By the time I'm released, you'll be 3 and 5 years old. I have that long to become someone worth meeting. Not your uncle who went to prison, but your uncle who chose to change. I'm registering for college courses here, real ones, earning a real degree. Maybe by the time you're old enough to understand, I'll have something true to show you. All my love, Tyler." I showed Matt. He's taking actual classes. Mom's doing real therapy. Emma's here and perfect. Did we actually win? "We survived," Matt corrected. "We chose truth and survived the explosion. Everything else is bonus." Emma stirred in my arms, making tiny newborn noises that sounded like agreement. I thought about the journey, from that horrible baby shower where I'd been literally on my knees, cleaning up Tyler's mess, to here, holding my daughter while surrounded by chosen family and tentative hope for the biological one. "You did it, baby girl," I whispered to Emma. "You're here, you're loved, and you'll never doubt your worth. That's the real victory." As if in response, Emma opened her eyes, dark like mine but clear, focused, present. She looked at me with what I swear was recognition, and in that moment, every invisible year was worth it for this singular, perfect visibility. The sun set over the hospital room, painting everything golden. Tomorrow would bring challenges. Newborn life continued boundary navigation with Mom Tyler's long journey to authentic redemption. But tonight, we basked in victory that looked like a 7-pound baby who'd never know what it meant to disappear. "We're visible, Emma Rose," I whispered as she drifted back to sleep. Both of us finally and forever visible. And in that truth, we'd found our happily ever after. 1 year later, I sat in our backyard watching Emma take her first unsteady steps between Matt and me. She'd chosen this morning, this perfect spring Saturday, to declare her independence. Each wobbly step was celebrated with cheers that made her giggle and try again. "That's my brave girl," I encouraged as she plopped down on her diaper-padded bottom, already pulling herself up for another attempt. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Today's journal entry, ready whenever you want to read it." She'd kept her promise writing in Emma's achievement journal every single day for a year. Not about herself, not about Tyler, just observations about me she'd missed the first time around. I saved them all, a growing testament to the power of choosing to see. Mama Emma reached for me and I scooped her up, breathing in her baby smell, powder and sunshine and possibility. "Should we video call Uncle Tyler?" Matt asked carefully. It was our monthly call, the compromise we'd reached after much discussion. "Let me check with Grandma first," I said, seeing Mom's car pull up. She emerged carrying a homemade birthday cake. Emma's first birthday was tomorrow, and we were having a small family dinner tonight. The large party with friends was planned for the weekend, but this was just for us. The real us, not the performed version. "I used your grandmother's recipe," Mom said, presenting the cake with appropriate humility. "Double chocolate, no nuts, Emma safe." "It's perfect," I said, meaning it. Dorothy arrived next, then Grandma Rose, who at 84 still drove herself everywhere and took no nonsense from anyone. "Where's my birthday girl?" she called, and Emma squealed with recognition. As we settled around the picnic table, I pulled up the prison video call system. Tyler appeared on screen looking healthier than I'd seen him in years. Prison had forced him to drop the pretenses, the designer clothes, the carefully styled image. What remained was just Tyler, flawed, working on it real. "Hey, family," he said, his voice steady. "Happy almost birthday, Emma." Emma babbled at the screen, fascinated by the tiny uncle in the phone. Tyler had earned these calls through consistent accountability. Real college courses with real grades, real therapy with real breakthroughs, real apologies to every person he'd defrauded, even when they didn't respond. "Guess what?" Tyler held up a paper. "Got my midterm grades, B+ average. Turns out when you actually do the work, you actually learn things." "That's wonderful," Mom said, and I watched her navigate the balance she'd learned, supporting without enabling, celebrating real achievements without inflating them. "It's hard," Tyler admitted, knowing I could have done this all along, actually earned things instead of faking them. But Dr. Martinez says regret is just ego inverted. Better to focus on now. We talked for 20 minutes about his classes, his therapy, his work in the prison library teaching literacy to other inmates. When Emma got fussy, we said goodbye with promises to call again next month. "He seems good," Dorothy observed as I closed the laptop. "He's trying," I agreed. "That's all any of us can do." Dinner was peaceful, filled with Emma's babbling and genuine laughter. Mom told stories about my childhood she'd recently rediscovered in therapy. Grandma Rose shared wisdom about raising strong daughters. Matt kept Emma entertained with silly faces while I just absorbed it all. This was what family could look like when truth was the foundation instead of lies. After cake, which Emma wore more than 8 as the sun set and fireflies emerged, Grandma Rose pulled me aside. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart," she said. "You broke the cycle. Emma will never know what you knew." "Sometimes I worry I'll mess up differently," I admitted. "What if I overcompensate, make everything about her until she can't handle not being the center?" "The fact that you're asking means you won't," Grandma assured me. "You've learned the most important lesson, seeing people as they are, not as we need them to be. Emma's lucky to have you." Later, after everyone had gone home and Emma was sleeping peacefully in her crib, Matt and I sat on the porch swing processing the day. "Your mom did well," he said. "No redirections to Tyler, no subtle manipulations. Just presence." "She's earned supervised presence," I agreed. "Maybe someday she'll earn more, but this is enough for now." I thought about the journey from last year's baby shower to today. The pain had been real, but so had the growth. Tyler was finding himself without false achievements. Mom was learning to see without selective blindness. And me, I was visible, valued, and teaching my daughter to be the same. My phone buzzed with a notification from the Facebook support group. A new member had joined, sharing her story of sibling abuse and parental enablement. Within minutes, dozens of responses poured in, support validation resources. "You started something," Matt said, reading over my shoulder. "We all did, everyone who chose truth over comfortable lies." I typed a welcome message to the new member. "Your story matters. Your pain is valid. And yes, it can get better. Not perfect, but better. Keep choosing truth." As we headed inside, I peeked into Emma's room one more time. She slept peacefully, unaware of the battles fought to ensure her peace. On her wall hung the photo from my second baby shower, the real one, surrounded by cards and wishes from people who saw us both clearly. But the newest addition made me pause. Mom's journal entry from today, which I'd printed and framed. 1 year ago today, Emma Rose entered the world and taught us all how to see. Kara labored for 14 hours, never complaining, focused only on bringing her daughter safely into the world. I watched my daughter become a mother and realized she'd been teaching me strength all along. I just refused to learn. Emma, when you read this someday, know that your mother broke every chain that bound her so you could be born free. That's not just love. That's heroism. Tears blurred my vision as I read it again, not because it erased the past, but because it proved the future could be different. Speaking directly to you now, dear viewer, I stood there in my daughter's nursery thinking about all the invisible daughters and sons out there, the ones making themselves smaller so someone else can seem bigger, the ones cleaning up messes they didn't make, the ones whose achievements are stolen, whose pain is dismissed, whose existence is barely acknowledged. I see you. Your story matters, and it can change. It won't be easy. Choosing truth over comfortable lies never is. Some relationships won't survive your visibility. Some family members will choose the golden child's fantasy over your reality. Some people will call you selfish for finally choosing yourself. But here's what I learned: being invisible isn't love. Enabling isn't kindness. Staying quiet isn't keeping peace. It's keeping secrets that poison everyone they touch. Emma stirred in her sleep, and I whispered the same promise I made every night. You are seen. You are valued. You are enough exactly as you are. That's the life lesson wrapped in this whole messy, painful, beautiful story. Everyone deserves to be seen clearly and loved truly. Not for what they pretend to be, not for what others need them to be, but for exactly who they are. Invisibility is not your inheritance. You can choose differently. Start small. Document truth. Find your people, the ones who see you without squinting. Set one boundary, then another. Use your voice even if it shakes. Choose yourself even if others call it selfish. Because here's the secret: when you finally become visible, you light the way for others to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Your truth gives others permission to tell theirs. Emma will grow up in a family where truth matters more than image, where achievements are earned, not stolen, where everyone gets to shine without dimming anyone else. She'll never know invisibility because I chose visibility even when it cost everything I thought I needed to keep. And if I can do it, after 28 years of practice at disappearing, so can you. I closed Emma's door gently and found Matt waiting in the hallway. "Ready for bed?" he asked. "Yeah, tomorrow's a big day. Our baby's turning 1. "Our visible, valued, perfectly imperfect baby," he agreed, pulling me close. As we settled into bed, I thought about Tyler in his cell, probably reading one of his textbooks. Mom in her apartment, maybe writing tomorrow's journal entry. The family we'd broken and rebuilt with truth as mortar. It wasn't the family I'd grown up in. It was the family we'd chosen to become. And that made all the difference. So I'll leave you with this question. What would change in your life if you chose visibility over invisibility? If you stopped making yourself smaller for someone else's comfort? If you decided today that your truth matters more than their lies? The choice is yours. It always has been. You just have to be brave enough to make it. And when you do, when you finally step into the light and refuse to shrink back into shadow, send me a message. Tell me your story. Because every invisible child who finds their voice makes the world a little brighter for all of us. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for seeing my story and perhaps recognizing your own. Thank you for choosing truth even when it's harder than lies. Remember, you are not invisible. You never were. You were just surrounded by people who refuse to see. Change the people or change the dynamic, but whatever you do, don't change yourself to fit their blindness. You deserve to be seen fully, truly, finally. With love and hope for your visible future, Kara Thompson. Yes, Thompson. I kept my name, found my voice, and built my life. P.S. If you found this story helpful, please share it with anyone who might need to hear it. Like this video if you believe everyone deserves to be seen. Subscribe to hear more stories of truth triumphing over comfortable lies. And comment below with your own journey from invisible to visible. Your story matters too. Until next time, remember, visibility is your birthright. Claim it.